does. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. Search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show, 'cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, world around us. They don't need to know. Come find me where the sun sets and say you'll never let me go. You're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide away right now. Don't let go. I know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. You'll always be my broken love. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so don't let it go. I know you feel it. You'll always be my broken love. They don't know how we love when we're letting close. With you, I know I belong. Without all eyes on us, you're the one I want. Say you need me. Hide away right now. Don't let go. I know you feel the same. Say you need me. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. Broken love. You'll always be my broken love. 'Cause you'll always be my broken love. You're so say you need me. Don't let it go. I know you feel it. You'll always be my broken love. We are dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Baby, you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Baby, you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. Search but you stay lost. We're reaching for the stars. We're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Baby, you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? How y'all doing on this wonderful weekend, Saturday evening? Everybody having a good weekend? I'll tell you what, after all the crazy shit last night, I didn't sleep very good. I did not sleep very good at all. I'll tell you what, some of these cases, man. And we were talking about another one today that I think is going to, is something that's good conversation to have. It's hey, just Carrie, how are you? You chilling deets? Yeah, man, there's a lot going on. So anyhow, I just kind of put like true crime chat and just put a couple different, different things, the different cases we've been talking about, different updates. And did you guys know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I read this somewhere and I'm going to go check it out again. But did you guys know that Ann Taylor, Brian Koberger's attorney, he actually represented Xana's mom and Madison's dad, Ben Mogan. So he's represented two of the parents out of the four kids. She's represented two of the parents. Now I have to look into that again. Like I said, I have to look into that before I say for 100% sure. I did read it on Twitter, but it's from a really accurate source. So I tend to believe this person, but I do want to double check for yourselves. You know what I mean? You guys can all check for yourselves as well. So, but that's something. Oh yeah, Deets, is that true? I just want to make sure. Oh, and the stepmom. So 3 parents. Wow. So she's represented 3. You want to know how to get conviction overturned, or oh man. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. The death penalty case, you can't have conflict of interest like that. I mean, you could it's going to cause too many issues, and it's even. What's up, B Tim?
What's up? How's things going?
Did you just hear that?
What
I was just saying? Madison. Okay, so we're going to start out with the Idaho 4 stuff. So I heard today, well, actually I heard a couple days ago, but I just was saying, talking about it today, that Madison Mogan's dad, Ben Mogan, he was actually represented by Ann Taylor as well.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. So two of the kids, but their parents have been represented by the same attorney.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but like, I don't think it's like a huge conflict, because it's like the issue is that there's not a lot of public defenders that do capital cases. So I mean, I see the issue a little bit, but the problem is like, who else is going to defend this guy who isn't
Yeah, I was going to say, we were talking, how many lawyers? I mean, I don't think there's a bunch of lawyers that can represent him, right?
Yeah, I think Heels covered it too. She did it like, because in her correcting Betty and her, constantly,
Right.
she corrected him in a video. She corrected him in a video, which basically said there's like 13 public defenders in Idaho, and the only one in North Idaho who are approved by the Public Defense Commission to lead the capital punishment case. So that that's pretty much the situation. And like, Taylor's one of the 13, basically. So it's like, who else is going to defend this guy, other than her?
Right.
So that's the whole thing. And I know people get like a little, emotional about it, or don't quite understand, but like, this guy needs an actual capital murder defense team, like, to help him not go to
Well,
jail.
yeah, because if they have to hire somebody, who do you think has to pay for that? You know what I mean? They'll have to be paying for, a special attorney, and investigative team, and you know what I'm saying. So I don't know.
I don't even think I mean, out of 13, I don't even think there is one that could defend him. So if she steps down, so I don't think, you know what I mean, that it's an option at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So.
And 6 months is like, you know, I think Lady Justice explained it, like, you know, like it is pretty quick. So to get another attorney on file to get him abreast of the. How you doing, Nick? How you doing, Ellie?
Hey.
Oh, I was like, who the fuck is blowing up the goddamn back chat? I should have already known. It was Boston.
I was using my code words.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know you'd be blowing up the back chat.
Go ahead, Tim.
Anyhow, what's up, baby? Go ahead, finish what you're saying.
Oh, did we lose him?
So Deed says 13 in Idaho can cover capital murder cases, and Ann is another R for that area, but Ann is senior to the others. Yeah, which is absolutely correct.
And she's like the head public defender.
Yeah.
Like I mean, like I looked at the list and everything, and like there is like people in other districts, but there's only certain people also that could do lead on like a trial, you know, and she's one of them. I mean, I'm sure they could find somebody else if this becomes, I think if anything, the media is going to make it bigger than it would have been if like we didn't.
Of course, I read like literally a Fox article that says family portrayed, and it's like, guys, you're just being hyperbolic a little bit. Like you're kind of not realizing the situation. And
Did you guys see Ashley Banfield responded to having Xana's mom on
live
or whatever? Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I'll play it.
You mean the interview? I've seen the interview. Yes, I've seen that.
No, but she responded to everybody's response to her doing the interview.
She responded to people criticizing her for having her on.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta see that.
No, I didn't see that. No.
What you got to add, Boston? What's up, bud?
I was talking. I remember I was supposed to have fight tonight at 1:00 in the morning.
Okay.
That's next week.
Oh, okay.
You figured that out this morning.
So you got to be fighting Ellie now in the back streets or something?
No.
I had a question. Do you think that Xana's mom case, if it doesn't go her way, right, is she going to have a argument? For instance, you know,
what doesn't go her way, honey?
No, her like case in general. You're saying
because she has a new lawyer now.
Whatever, like that
would
happen.
I don't think that really has anything to do with it. I mean, there's no way to go when you're arrested for controlled substance. I mean, you don't get to have it your way.
It's a public defender too. It's not like a private attorney or anything. You know what I mean? Like she was given like.
I was just wondering if that would play any role.
I mean, that's what people are saying about Brian in a way that this could cause like a mistrial. And if anything, the media is going to make it if they don't drop it soon.
I mean, if she steps down, I think that would probably cause a mistrial because it's like, you know, who's going to represent him? You know what I mean? Like,
I'm sure they could find another
person. They'd
person,
have to find a private attorney, or they would have to hire one. I mean, there'd be, you know what I'm saying? They have to provide him with an attorney. They can't just say, well, we can't get another one. So it's a mistrial.
You know? I'm sure there's another one in another district or something. I'm sure there's other public, defenders.
Well, for North Idaho, they said there was only like.
Well, even if they're not public defenders, the state will have to pay for that. That's what I mean.
Yeah. I mean, they'd have to ship them in. Like they would have to, like, what if?
Well, you would have to pass.
You would
have to pass the bar in Idaho. You have to have the bar in Idaho. So it would only be in Idaho, and if it's only like for public defenders like 13. I mean, like, I don't know who would be.
There's a list that they on the Idaho website that shows.
Sorry, got my phone. Sorry, honey, I'm switching over.
Who could do it? Who could do like capital punishment? And it's like a long list, but like, and there's different districts, and so her and one other person like in her district would qualify. But they could, I mean, like if there is a real conflict and she does get kicked off, I'm sure there's another public defender out there. Like she's not the only one in the world that could defend him.
Well, she's the best qualified to defend him.
Of course, because she
has a very short time.
Best qualified doesn't really mean that, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't really mean that they can't get another one, you know?
Right?
They have to provide him with another attorney.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
don't think there's a reason to. I mean, like,
I don't think
I
there's
mean,
a
like,
reason, but
I
if
mean,
they have
people
to,
are making
yeah,
a big like deal about like, well,
such a big deal. Yeah.
about this woman defending the mother, but you have to realize, like, some lawyers have, like, if you go into the civil side, some lawyers have like 300 cases on their just doing one
Right.
attorney. Maybe she just didn't notice it. You know what I mean? And just like like it's as simple
Well, I
as
think
that.
there's a lot of people that don't realize how it works, with public defenders and private attorneys and stuff like that.
They found it right away though, because like somebody did like a timeline of all the paperwork, and it was found like pretty much right away. Do you know what I mean? And she was like given new counsel,
Yeah.
and
Do you think the lack of they didn't have a murder since I believe it was 2015 in that county, the area? Do you think that's why they have a lack of attorneys that cover that type of thing with the death penalty?
I think it's just a small area, a small place, that they don't, it's different. Like we were talking about like New York or LA, like big cities that have like tons of public defenders, I guess. And especially with capital defense, like, there's like less that could do, and then there's less could do like co-lead like on a trial, or, lead a trial. And then, so there are, but I'm sure like if something, God forbid, would happen to Ann Taylor, there's other people that could, right? I'm sure that
Voices said it has nothing to do with population. So I wonder if it does have to do with the lack of, that type of thing going on there.
It's just a smaller town, like it's a smaller city in general, so that there has to be like a need, like a supply and demand thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, I just think they're giving this woman a lot of,
I don't think they should take her off, but if they do, I'm sure they'll figure it out. Like,
I mean,
hey, voices.
I mean, like,
you can turn your camera
hey,
if you want. I'll pull you up real quick. Hey, Willow, what's up, buddy?
Hey,
what's happening, man?
Willow,
I miss you, my dude. I really wish you come up here and talk shit to me or get a hold of me on Discord. I really want to chat with you.
Willow, I'm worried about you.
All right, you can live with voices.
Voices, what's happening?
You can come live with me and Grandma. We got a little shed for the pig too.
Yeah, but remember, she hunts animals, so.
Well, no,
she might hunt your pig.
No, that wouldn't be a fair fight, Tim.
Oh, I read your message wrong, Voices. I apologize.
I wanted to come up and say, Nick, I love how inquisitive you are. I love how you're always thinking and asking questions. The answer to that is it's going to be based on population.
Okay. I thought you said not population. I read it wrong.
No, it's going to be based upon population. I think I typed it wrong. That's why I just decided.
No, you typed it right. I read it wrong like an idiot.
No, you forgot the comma. You forgot the comma, Voices. That's
well, that's figures with voices. I'm uneducated.
Oh, Allie, did you? I'll go check it. Allie said I've sent Queen an email with a newsletter that I got from Lori, who explains how there is no conflict of interest and why. So I'll pull that up too. I'll go find that.
It unfortunately looks weird, but when you actually look at like how Idaho is based, how the public defender districts are, and all of that, although it looks weird, it's totally allowable.
So I would say it's probably easier to replace Xana's mom's lawyer than it is
exactly.
Brian.
Well, that's what they said,
and that's what it's based upon.
Mm-hmm. It's like a perceived conflict of interest, not a real conflict of
yeah,
interest. That's what
absolutely.
the lawyers said.
You can find an attorney that's going to take over a controlled substance charge, which, you know what I'm saying, more than you can find an attorney that's qualified to take over a capital murder charge or death penalty charge. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right. Death penalty attorneys have to be, there's more procedures.
A certain qualification, yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, devil's advocate, is that still fair for Xana's mom? Just question. Literally
yeah,
question.
You can find another attorney for her. It's going to be very hard to find another attorney for him. If they do, it's going to cost a lot of fucking money to hire a private attorney.
I would reverse that question to is it fair to Brian that they would just remove him? You have to be like, law is just, you know what I mean?
Law is law. You have to put it across the board.
Even if you don't like the guy, you still have to give him a fair trial and the ability to defend himself. And he needs to, it wouldn't be fair to just remove the best qualified person to defend him, and suddenly puts another person on the case, and he's got like 6 months, maybe less now. I think maybe 5 months to figure out how to defend himself from a trial that is for his life. He's fighting for his life, and even if you don't like Brian, and I think he's absolutely guilty, but he still has the right for a fair trial. Of his peers.
They still have rights. That's the shitty part.
Course.
They still have rights, you know.
And
Just
a public
like those
defender.
officers we watched yesterday. You know, they still have rights.
Where I just want to be like, yeah,
whatever.
You know. You know what I mean? So that's all. That's how I feel about that.
Yeah, fuck their rights.
That's why you're not a defense lawyer. That's why you're not a lawyer.
That's right.
Yeah, being a defense lawyer is a certain kind of a person to be able to, you know, and you're following the law to protect, you know, and it's what you do.
I find it so hard. I think I said this like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago with you guys, to be a defense lawyer. I know it's your job and whatnot, but if like they really think in their back of the head that they did it, like how morally in there, like, you know what I mean? I know it's their job. I know it's needed. It just feels like I couldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Well, like, let's say when marijuana was illegal and you had an attorney that represented you, but
that's different.
Wait. Let me complete this out. And he believed that marijuana was like the devil's weed, and he thought it was immoral. And he says, "Well, I can't represent you. I can't give you a fair. I think you're a terrible person, so I just don't want to represent you." Do you think that's fair? Do you think that would be a good lawyer? I think
it's a little bit different because it's, you know, it's marijuana.
Well, I think if an attorney feels that strongly about it, I would rather them go ahead and just, recuse themselves and let me find an attorney that's actually going to work for me. Because if you think that badly of it, you're not going to represent me anyhow.
And he would be a bad. Wait. And he would be a bad lawyer, right?
I don't know about a bad lawyer, but I know that even if he says he wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? So you get biased like that. So, I mean, I still feel like he wouldn't do 110% for me if, you know what I'm saying?
And that's what you want. You want
it wouldn't be the right lawyer for you. Basically.
Yeah, I'm saying like you gotta treat all your clients fairly. You have to basically fight it the most for your client. Like you just have to fight like as hard as you can to get them off. And if you can't, you know,
and see, that's the thing. And if you can't, then you have to recuse yourself from that and tell them, you have to tell the judge why. That's the thing. The judge wants to know why. You know, and I don't know if it goes on your, how I don't know if it like goes against them or, you know what I'm saying? Like if it's, you know what I mean?
Like on their bar record.
Yes.
Like it's frowned upon, basically. On the record.
I guess it really wouldn't matter.
For different cases, like if they've said, no, I got to pass on this one, I got to pass on that one. How many times?
On big cases, like death penalty cases, not just like nonchalant regular cases, because that's just whatever. But I mean, like big cases, you know, like I guess that's what I'm saying. But it's okay. I'm gonna play this real fast. This is Ashley Banfield's response to having Xana's mom on here. She still doubles down and backs it up 100%. But I will say this much. She does give a good reason why. So I'm going to play this and then you guys will talk about it when we're done.
Roger that.
I want to mention something that a lot of people on social media are talking about. And I'm going to get very personal here, so just bear with me, if you will. There were a lot of people who were very upset that we ran this interview. And some of the comments that I read upset me because I look at Karen Northington as a woman who has admitted that she has struggled with addiction mightily. She admitted on television that she was in rehab and needed help from her attorney to get there. Her struggles are real. And the fact that she lost her daughter to a ghastly crime is real. And she is a victim in all of this. And she deserves a say. She deserves a say from the very get-go because she's been victimized as a family member of a murder victim. And I do not care where she spends her evenings or whether she's been in jail or whether she needed a public defender. She has a voice. She deserves to speak. And when this happened with her attorney, she 100% gets to speak. She has a dog in this fight because her attorney is representing her daughter's accused killer. Let it sink in. She has a right to speak. She has a case. And I think Ann Taylor has explaining to do. And to that end, we called Ann Taylor's office. Understandably, she can't get back to me. There's a gag order in this case, so she can't respond. But at some point, she's going to have to respond. And for anyone out there who thinks this is somehow sinking the case against Bryan Kohberger, let me be honest with you. A conflict of interest for a death penalty case can overturn a case. So if you're worried about this, you should be. You should be worried that an attorney who is not fit to serve as an attorney because of a conflict should not be in a death penalty case, lest the state of Idaho wants to spend a whole bunch more money and a whole bunch more emotion to have to retry this case again. And I am pretty sure nobody wants that. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
All right.
Holy shit. She makes a very valid point.
I'm gonna say
she
differently
does,
for me.
So, yeah.
I mean, like, legit, I wanted to fight it. But then when she said, hold up, let that sink in, she's exactly right.
But that woman still was not in the right mind frame to give that interview. She is anybody that's been through that, what she's going through.
How do you know what mind frame she was in?
Yeah.
She said that woman was supposed to get her into rehab. She has not been into rehab yet. That was the woman that was supposed to get her into rehab by sending.
I'm sure the
interview.
I'm sure the other public defender though picked up right where she left off. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it's going to stop her like in the process, like by switching. Of course,
that is generally what happens. Yes, Ellie, that is generally what happens. Is the other public defender steps right in, and it's a seamless transition.
Now, when she says conflict of interest, does she mean, and this is something like a food of thought, does she mean that the conflict of interest, like Bryan could be like, well, she represents, and let's say he gets convicted. Can he be like, come around and says, well, she represented the mother. Maybe she wasn't all in because she represented the mother. Is that the conflict of interest she's insinuating?
That's what people are trying to say, but I don't see that happening in like our, I don't know.
I mean, like the only way that I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No. I was going to say, to answer your question, Tim, I think that what Banfield is speaking in broader terms. I think that what Banfield is saying is that any conflict of interest can get an overturning of a death penalty conviction.
I mean, the only way.
So why take the risk?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm trying to understand is that obviously the conflict of interest. The only way I can really think of conflict of interest to throw away the case, and this is just layman me just thinking. So this is not like someone who knows the answer to this would be, or I'm just kind of spitballing, would be like if the Bryan believed that like a situation occurred because she represented the mother, and that would be the conflict of interest. I don't think the conflict of interest would be that, the other way around. I don't understand her logic. I don't think Bryan would have an issue if he's already waived it.
And if he does have an issue, then he could, I don't know, like his rights as far as like getting another public defender. If he plays devil's
advocate and he says, "Oh, I have a problem," if he gets found guilty, and then says, "Okay, well, I feel like there was a conflict of interest because he represented, or she represented, Kara, and Xana's mother, and they were connected to the case or whatever," and so Ben.
When there's a conflict of interest, I
don't think he can go off of it, though. I don't think he can use that.
If he can't go off of that, and he can't, and you don't think it's gonna, then I don't see her.
That's a not issue.
Yeah, I don't.
That's
see her
what
argument.
I was looking for, Jen Lou.
I think she's just upset and angry, but I don't think there's anything else that can be done about it.
Yeah, I have no issues.
Have to have Kohberger sign a waiver. If he signs it, there we go.
Tyler would have to Kohberger. Okay, Thank you, Jen. That's a good one.
That's what I was looking for, Jen Lou. Thank you.
And what I was simply saying is, I just feel like she was at her weakest point right there, one of her weakest points, especially after, I just think they could have gone about it a different. I don't know. When I watched the interview, I felt some type of way. It's just what I felt. I can't help that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but like she has a right to speak because that's her daughter, and she has a right. And I don't think she was under the influence. She didn't seem like out of it.
Seemed like she's like high or nothing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
she's probably on Suboxone, which is good. You know what I mean? and that's allegedly, but it just feels like she was in a dark place there. I don't know.
I mean, her daughter died. I mean,
yeah, I'm not just talking about that. You know what I mean? She
And
got
she's
arrested. What, 2
there's
days,
an arrest
2 days
warrant
after,
on her.
she got
you know?
arrested 2 days after her child was killed.
yeah. So
Yeah.
she's in the
Mhm.
dark, but I think like she wants her voice, because like realizing that, you know, for her to find out, you know, as a person who didn't understand the full details about how many lawyers there are available, you automatically think like, this is an outrageous thing. How could this be? And she probably was very outraged, and she wanted her voice to be heard. That's my guess. And I don't think Banfield did anything wrong doing an interview with her.
I don't think she was super outraged, because I
Is she
think
under
like
the gag order? Is Kara under the gag order?
no, just like
No,
her like
it's
lawyer would be.
lawyers,
you know?
yeah, lawyers that would hired by the families, the gag, or anyone that has anything that has to do with the legal side.
Well, it was
Yeah,
a
but the
question in the
victims.
chat. There was a
Yeah.
question in the chat. They also said, was she paid? I don't recall. No, I don't recall her saying if she was paid or not. I'm not sure. That's something that I would be
We were
interested
talking
in.
about that. Yeah.
I would doubt it. I would doubt that they would pay her. I really
For a
would.
Zoom.
And if she was
like,
paid, that's giving somebody money that in an active addiction that could make the wrong decision. But that's
Well,
if
I mean, Nick,
But
you
Nick-
gotta have to have facts
What?
to back that up. You can't just say.
I know. I just said if she was paid. I didn't say she was paid. I said if
But
she
we
was
also
paid.
don't know if she's in active addiction right now.
Yeah.
Listen,
don't
well, she
know
wants
that.
to go into rehab, so
that's active
right?
addiction until she is clean.
Well,
clean.
She wants
She
to
said
go
she
into
wants
rehab,
to
but
go.
we don't know. I mean, we don't know the
we don't
circumstances.
know. Yeah, we don't know the circumstance exactly. It's
'Cause
always
there's
could
people
be.
who get arrested for controlled substance that don't ever use it. I mean, I'm not saying that this is the case, because you
Yeah.
can clearly tell that's not the case.
Oh my
but,
god. Yeah.
you know, there's other, you know.
What do you think of Gen X's remarks? Let's not forget, in the beginning, people were also saying maybe her drug issues were a reason for
Yeah,
the
remember that
murders.
whole thing? Because she did get like arrested 5 days later, so people were like, "What?" People, and then that whole drug, trap house drug theory got started on like
Yes,
4chan.
yeah.
So it all got like connected with like she kind of connects things for people. So people are like outraged, I think, at other. I don't know. They're just using her in the story and like, oh, so now Brian's not going to get a fair trial. I think he will, and like if he has a problem with like that, he doesn't think it, he'll deal with it now with his lawyer, right? Like somebody said, he has to sign some kind of waiver that this is happening. Boom. So it doesn't create any problems down the road. Like this can't create like an overturned verdict and stuff. I just don't see it. Like lawyers do this all the time. Like even like with Alec Murdoch like his lawyer was like his son's lawyer, the one that he's accused of killing now. So, there's always,
That's
right?
probably a bigger situation.
I mean, that's like a
Green had a good comment.
conflict.
What's he follow the grain said? Who reached out to her? To who? I don't believe Kara called them because she wanted to talk about it. She didn't even know, and I think maybe Banfield is the one who told her just before.
She found it on Reddit, she said in one of her interviews, like
One of her friends told her to go to Reddit, yeah.
Yeah, on Reddit or something. And she didn't even appear for her like first she failed to appear for her first like court things that she was going to meet with Ann Taylor. So I don't even know if she even met with her. Maybe when she was first arrested, possibly the first time. I don't know. Like, but it's not like she has a long relationship with her.
Wasn't she arrested
somebody
in August, and that was her attorney in August, wasn't it?
Somebody put like her whole like arrest thing on like online, and some of the there was other attorneys. Like she's not the only. Ann Taylor isn't her attorney forever. Do you know what I mean? It's whatever. I mean, I think this is a big nothing burger, truthfully, but people are going to make it. If people make such a big deal about it, then there might be a problem where, I don't know. If it gains, it seems, hopefully it will just die down, maybe.
Just trying to think how long. I'm trying to see what Banfield's background is. Was she a lawyer?
She's a lawyer, yeah.
Okay.
She was a lawyer. Yeah, she's a lawyer.
I'm just trying to see. How long was she a lawyer for? Or is she still currently?
Oh yeah, she's currently. She didn't get she's still a lawyer.
Then why didn't she mention about like the waiver and anything like that? Like
Like why
said?
wouldn't she? Yeah, I feel like I don't know why she wouldn't why she was asking her some of the questions, like knowing, like with her lawyer background. Like, I mean, I know she's doing it for because she's a
Yeah,
journalist now, but
I'm trying to check what type of lawyer she is actually right now while we're speaking. Maybe I should have done that before. That would have been probably smarter to do.
Like she asked questions that she basically knew the answers to. Is that what you're saying, Ellie?
well, maybe that she knows as a lawyer, but she's kind of like sensationalizing it a little bit with the original interview that she did, like making it a big deal, kind of like trying to appeal to people's emotions, because people get very emotional about this whole case in general. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they're just kind of like picking at anything that I feel News Nation has done this, with like they were reporting on like the People magazine article about them. They've been reporting on a lot of like other I just don't totally trust them anymore. I mean, like I trust that, of course, I think that all the victims' parents and they should have like a voice, and if they want to talk, then they should be able to talk, of course. But seems like because of this story, it was like maybe a reason for her to reach out to them, to reach out to her mom, Xana's mom, and kind of use her a little bit, what I mean?
She's on Idaho's wanted website, Emmy Headstone said.
Yeah, she's like, there's a warrant out for her arrest. I don't know if it's like.
I think she failed.
Here.
On 2 cases, not just one.
Okay.
I think it was 2. And I also believe, if I heard or read it correctly, there may also be an issue out of Washington as well. Now, not that I'm about to make an excuse. However, someone that is in active addiction, they don't always make their court appearances. Somebody who's not living an upstanding life, that doesn't have funds, also knows that they're going to get hit with either being locked up or fines, and they will fail to appear. It happens more than people realize.
And Sam, she said they don't put all warrants on there. I don't think, just the most wanted, right? No, any warrant will be on their database. She's not on America's Most Wanted, but she has a warrant in that county.
Well, honey, if you went and looked at Warren County right now, at our county website, you could see every person that has a warrant
Exactly.
out for arrest.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying.
That's not. I mean, if you have if you fail to appear, that will result and you don't make it to your court place. Then, exactly, Willow. Nothing worse than detoxing in jail.
Oh, you're talking about CM. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find. You're talking about Ashley Banfield, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to. I don't see her legal background. I don't see.
Oh, really?
I'm reading her education. It says education, native Canada, Balmoral Hall Hall School. Yeah, a private university preparatory school in Winnipeg, Manitoba, which she left in 1985. Also attended her mother, Susie Holland, in 1950. She went to obtain Bachelor's of Arts degree in political science and French from Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, 1988, and continued her studies in French at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, British Columbia, graduated in 1992. And I'm trying to see like if she actually practiced. Maybe I'm wrong here. I'm just looking at the Wikipedia and I'm trying to find her career. And if people can correct me, please do. Because I'm trying to.
And that's another thing. Banfield probably knew she had a warrant, and she still put her what's it called?
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Okay, so she's not a lawyer. Okay, because I went to like actually the Wikipedia, and I don't think she's a lawyer. Yeah.
Oh, so crazy. In Canada. She's from Canada. Huh. So Jen Lou says she's not a lawyer at all. Oh. You know who told it? Lady Justice said she was a lawyer.
Yeah. Well, I just looked her Wikipedia up and she's not a lawyer, right? Like it doesn't
how she's a legal
I mean, she's had a long career and a lot of
legal correspondent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not an attorney.
That's like sorry. I heard it and I just
Yeah, Lady Justice did say she was a lawyer, didn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
unless
she has
someone
a
could correct. Yeah,
Oh, she
unless
has a
someone,
fellowship from Loyola Law School. Somebody just said.
she has a fellowship. Oh,
What does that
okay.
mean?
Yeah, but did she pass the bar? I mean, like, in what state did she pass the bar?
And has she worked on cases also, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm just trying to get her understanding of her expertise.
I don't know. Have we Googled her?
I'm Googling her now, and I'm looking up her Wikipedia, and I don't, unless I'm missing something.
Oh, is it not pinned, Jen Lou? Jen Lou said she can share if you drop the StreamYard link.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
Thanks, Jen Lou. Let me just try to drop. Yeah, thanks, QueenBee. Because I just want to understand her background. I'm not trying to throw shit, but I just like to get the correct
It should be
information.
pinned. I just took the poll down or whatever so you could see it.
Yeah, because I've been shooting missing.
The poll covers it up, so you know.
What did the poll end at?
Let's see.
56 said no.
There we go.
There we go. 56% said no. I said, do you believe Ashley should have interviewed Kara Northington? No. 56%. Yes. 43%. And that was 128 votes.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
I think it's about 50-50. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
kind of
makes sense.
Okay. Here, I'll just share the link then again. It's not working here. Oh, did you get it? Okay, I heard it pop. So hold on.
I heard it pop.
Yeah. What's up, chick? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. If I'd unmute, I could actually answer, and you could hear me.
Yes, I got.
All right, let me put this thing for you because this is her whole bio. It's from the national speakers, and it's her whole bio. It's everything she's ever done, all of her schooling, all of her journalism. When I was growing up in Arlington, Texas.
Hold on, are you on speakerphone or something?
No, let me just switch.
It's really low.
Hold on.
It's yeah. I was gonna say it's. I'm having a really hard time hearing you.
You sound like you're in a can with a sock over it.
I wonder if it's her service.
It might be what she's using. She might not have headphones in.
Yeah, I'm just reading her bio that she put in the back. So.
Yeah, she got like a law, like a journalism law fellowship from like a law school. So it was probably like that's how she became a legal expert.
Yeah, so she's not a practicing attorney.
Huh.
Oh, so she got it like Kim Kardashian.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Better? No, she got like a fellowship in like journalism.
Yeah, that's better.
In a way, like law, journalism of law. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what do you want to say?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, I just had to switch headphones. Okay, so when I was growing up in Arlington, Texas, Ashley Banfield was with the local Fox News. She is the person who used to tell us if we had a snow day. That's where she got her start. But this is her whole, like all the things that she's ever done, all the big interviews, all the awards she's ever won. And as an added bonus, because I'm just so nice, you can book her. The links are in this article to book her if you want her to come and talk.
How much?
I don't know. I didn't click the link. I don't have that kind of money.
All right. We're gonna have to raise. We gotta do a Dolly Visions. We gotta raise.
It would only be a couple $100s, to be quite frank.
We gotta raise up
10,000 to get Banfield on the hive.
I just wanted to come up and give you guys that. She's a legal correspondent. She's done a lot of like stuff with like court TV, stuff like that. So, but my issue with Banfield is that she didn't actually like straight lie to her audience, but she did withhold from her audience, because the truth of the matter is it's not actual. And I'm not saying that she's not a victim or anything like that. I'm just talking straight legal, because I looked this shit up because I wanted to know. It's not Kara who would be in jeopardy in this situation. It's actually Koberger.
Yeah.
So he's the one that would have to sign a waiver. And I highly doubt, I mean, Ann Taylor took all this time to go through schooling, to get her Juris Doctorate, to pass the bar. Then on top of it, she got death penalty qualified. Then on top of it, she's running the whole entire public defender's office.
Where did you see where she passed the bar? What state did she pass the bar?
No. Ann Taylor did, not Banfield. Banfield's not a lawyer.
Oh, thank you. I was like, okay.
Yeah, you're like, what happened? Yeah, no. Ann Taylor's very qualified. She's like
exactly.
super qualified. He's not going to want to give her up. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that she's not going to let this go either. I mean, attorneys, they're held to ethics and morals by the bar. It would be, she would be violating her oath as an attorney if she didn't disclose this. And moreover, she would be in even bigger trouble if she didn't get Koberger to sign this waiver. So at the end of the day, it's up to Koberger. He'll sign the waiver because what else is he going to do? Right. And this is going to be a big, huge non-issue.
Yeah.
The bigger question is, why is it being spun in a way that makes her appear unethical? Why would they want to do that? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I do.
You know
why. I know
it's
why.
The clicks and views. It's like the betrayal. And people don't want to actually explain the details and kind of explain, like, the facts of the thing. They just rather go with emotions so they can get a lot of people to read their articles or listen to the news, unfortunately.
Well, right. And then, but yet the online sleuthers are the problem. And I'm not saying that we don't have some of us among us who are problems.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, because we definitely do. We also have some mainstream media whose ethics are questionable at this point. People Magazine, I'm looking at you. You know damn right well that the Mad Greek came out long time ago and said that guy had never been at their restaurant, and you ran that damn article anyway.
Wait a minute. You're going against the People? That's the greatest news source ever. I believe everything that comes from People.
What's sad is my mom loved People Magazine. Like, that's the thing, that she would buy that damn People Magazine every week at the grocery store when we would go grocery shopping on Saturdays, because Sundays was laundry day, according to the Lord. I don't know. My mom had weird ways, but whatever. Every Saturday she'd go to when we went grocery shopping, she'd buy People. I was so upset when I was like, why are you doing this? And for a minute, I even questioned myself. I was like, am I high? I'm not high. I know that they came out and said that he never ate there. How is this? Yeah, I even, but that's me. Before I say anything, I Google, and I Googled and Googled and Googled to understand how it could be a conflict of interest. What could the possible outcomes be? What could the possible remedies be? And it's a waiver. And that's it. All he's got to do is sign a waiver.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. And that's all I wanted to share. Thanks for letting me up, QueenBee.
Well, thank you for coming up. I appreciate you explaining stuff to us and chatting with us. You know?
No
and for
problem.
the bio, now I can't believe I thought she was a lawyer.
Well, I think people, I mean, it's that part of her education might lead somebody to, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of, and then on top of it,
law school, and
and she's done a lot of legal corresponding for Court TV and stuff like that, but her focus was always journalism.
But she should have like a lot of expertise on, because she's been working around the field, so she'd have more of it than a layman's person. So understanding.
Well, I feel like the better thing to do would have been to have a couple of criminal defense attorneys on there to argue, like, point and counterpoint. You know what I mean? About the possible ramifications, because then the audience is all the way informed, which is what
instead of partially.
Right. Exactly. And I don't, stirring up people to, go after this lady who, look, you guys, do you really think that this isn't a ladder climb for her? Honestly, it's not. She's a public defender, for Pete's sake. If she wanted a ladder climb, she'd be in the private sector.
Oh, yeah. She could make so much money in the private sector. She could become
and,
partner and become multimillionaire in a matter of
exactly. And the truth of the matter is, she may not want to represent Brian either, but she took an oath, and she's the one, that's death penalty qualified. She's doing her job. We can't, I mean, it'd be like if we shamed the crime scene the crime scene processors. We wouldn't do that. They don't want to be out there. They don't like getting called to these places.
How will I make money being a tragedy pimp without blaming people that have nothing to do with the case? Like,
well, you're not a tragedy pimp, Tim, so you're good.
Damn it.
You're just not tragedy pimp material, bud. That's just the truth of the matter. You got too much logic and ethics. Those are the things that have to go right the fuck out the window.
We have to blame someone so we can get the views. We got to blame someone. Who can we blame?
Before I forget, real quick, guys, Blank Screen put an hour thing out on Molly's most trigger crazy moments. We have to watch that one of these times on here. It's absolutely crazy.
We still have 2 other cases to talk
about.
No, I'm not talking about tonight. I'm talking about another time.
Just blame Kyle's mom like the kids from South Park do. You know, she's a fat fucking bitch. Big old fat fucking bitch, Kyle's mom.
Yeah, I mean, Heels and Hera actually covered it well with her video. She did when she's correcting, because now like Heels got a new series going where she's like just literally correcting every misinformation of like fucking Betty.
Oh, I love that.
And it's like Betty first said that like she needed like a free attorney, and she's like, "Yeah, I need a pro se attorney to represent me for free." And
what?
And now she's like saying like it's cheaper for the death sentence than like no, it's cheaper to the death sentence than to imprison someone, and she was corrected there, and then she was corrected on this as well.
Oh my God. For serious, look, first of all, you get death penalty. First of all, you get automatic appeals.
Yeah.
Okay? And they go on for an eternity. And the only way to stop them is for you to ask to stop them, i.e. Eileen Wuornos. But before you're even allowed to stop them, they have to evaluate you to make sure that you're of sound mind to be able to stop your appeals. And so like they didn't believe that Eileen was a victim of anything. They didn't feel that she had any mental health issues pre-trial and during trial. But the minute she wanted to stop her appeals, all of a sudden, we got to evaluate Eileen because she must be crazy. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, that's it.
And also the cocktail they use for majority of death penalties, that's like in high demand. Like it's not. You know what I mean?
They don't want to make it anymore.
It's not high demand. They just
companies don't want to make it.
They're basically I read an article. I think like in the Bush is tossing an article, and she was like, basically the article says that they don't want to actually sell the chemicals because it's bad press for them to make the death penalty chemical. So if they're getting a hard time getting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Well, I'm going to get down. I'll be in the chat, but thank you guys for letting me up and listening to me and putting up with my saying.
Oh, thank you.
My saying songs.
Well,
awesome talking to you.
I think we appreciate you because you gave us like a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Thank you very
really
much.
Good information. Yeah.
Well, you're welcome. I try.
All right, bye. I very much appreciate you because you always bring in the deeds.
I try, voices. I try. But thank you guys. All right. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Okay, bye. Bye.
Bye. Have a good night.
The more you know.
She's so nice.
All right, kick voices. So it's like we have to.
You stinky Monsanto tomato tonight.
Oh Lord.
You got to kick her. But yeah. I mean, like, I just don't think it's a conflict. I think it's just it's a lot of people just pushing it, and they're not informing people.
Like she said, I want to know why they're making her look so bad.
Money.
You know what I mean? Like, what?
Well, think about it. Banfield's just about out of people to talk to, and this case is starting.
I think things are changing a little bit because when they brought in Cuomo, I think there's some sort of like direction they're going with, and I feel like, maybe she just doesn't want to admit that she was a little bit wrong, or, I don't know, maybe I'm just wrong myself.
Well, they go for the story. You know what I mean? Like, we can't that's their job, right?
I mean, they're not as bad
saw a little bit of something there, so they just went for it, whatever,
I just thought it was a little bit distasteful, the interview with the mom.
Oh yeah, I mean, they did an interview with her early on though as well, with the mom, with Cara.
But you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with the interview. I think the fact is that you always have to look at what is the point of anything. Like, what's the point of the interview? And the lady wanted to get her, she wanted to get her feelings out about how she felt in the whole situation. And I think that was the point of the interview and how she, they wanted to go. It's, so I think that interview was fine. I just think
about the death penalty. She asked her, like, what do you, and I don't think she got to it on that one. I don't remember seeing the other
I don't
one.
remember that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't remember that. I could be.
She didn't answer it. Yeah, she after the interview, she said, "Oh, we have another interview," and her take on the death penalty. But I haven't seen that one yet.
Mm-hmm. So,
hi, Cappy.
Hi, Cappy.
Happy shopping.
Capsta.
I also put in the back, Queen, like the heels video that I talked about, just in case if you want to play. It's like 3 minutes or something like that. But, excuse me.
Would you burp?
Polly, we don't know if she was paid. She could have just been found and wanted to speak. I mean, it's all,
They reached out to her in the beginning, so they must have had a contact with her somehow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be kind of fucked up if they.
And then, like, this came out that she was represented. I mean, they didn't reach out to Maddie's parents because her dad and stepmom were also like represented by Ann Taylor.
Yeah,
but it's done and over with, and I don't know. I'm sure.
I thought Maddie's parents had a gag order on him as well. I guess I was wrong there.
Everybody does.
All the lawyers,
just the lawyers, not the families. No families.
I mean, I don't know why Steve's still contacting. I hope he stopped contacting Olivia and all that stuff because that's some bad situation that's going to occur if he keeps on doing that.
Yeah, and he's all about getting this guy, the death penalty. You know what I mean? And if he keeps talking, he might. Then I might be a case type thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They put horrible spin to tragic stories and used her mom and backfired on Banfield. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I understand why the mom wanted to do the interview.
Of course, yeah.
I just think the moral, she morally shouldn't have done that. Not the mom. I'm talking about,
All right. So what's the next topic? Okay, how much money you got in your pockets? We gotta get answers from this woman. We're gonna have to pay her some money. How much is it gonna cost us? Let's see.
I'm sure you can find it.
All right. It says we can't book her. It says no book for speaker available.
She's all booked up.
Wah, wah, wah. We can't get her.
That's a marketing tactic, so people reach out to her more. I found this clothing line. It said all sold out in 24 hours, and it wasn't all sold out. It was just click it and get your layaway in. Basically, you'll get it in a month from now.
That'd be hilarious if fucking some Dolly or Betty just actually paid her to come on, and she comes on.
Dude, I would beg her as a poor person to come on.
I got $5 on it.
$5. Okay, everyone's got to contribute $5. There's usually
get Ashley on here
to get Ashley Banfield.
Serious questions.
She's not going to answer serious questions. What questions would you ask?
Obviously.
This is what a question I would ask her, guys. I would be like, hey, the interview with Kara's mom. Do you think in hindsight you might have wouldn't have taken that interview? After all the negativeness you're getting about it, maybe word it a little bit better. I'd like to hear what she has to say about that.
She answered that question in
she beat around the bush with that. She really didn't answer it. To me, it felt like she was beating around the bush.
Yeah. No, I think she just basically feels like she's right with her topic, but I think she's not. I think Pete, what Jen said was correct. And that's why I was thinking, you're saying the conflict of interest would be an appeal, but the only way a conflict of interest would occur is if, Brian felt like there was a conflict of interest, not the other way around. So I don't understand it.
It's up to him. Right? Yeah.
Do we really care what he says? Do we really care?
Yeah, the courts care.
care, but I know, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what he says.
Is there any what else you want to talk about it?
I think you wanted that. I hadn't heard QueenBee to put that up in the back.
What, honey?
Yeah, I think he dropped something for you in the back to play. I think it was Heels.
Heels. Yeah, she's the one. She responded like halfway through the video about that question about the whole correcting Betty about like the prosecutors and stuff like. She's yelling at her like someone's actually correcting her with correct information in her chat, Betty, and she's yelling at her saying, "No, it's not correct," and she's sounding like a fool, like as always.
All right.
All right, well, we're about to put it on, baby. Because let me tell you something. Heels in the Air is my girl. I just love her fucking videos. She does an amazing job on her videos, for real.
I love the sound of her voice.
Yeah, she's really good.
Other friends who haven't subbed yet. Good morning, my lovely subs. And other friends who haven't subbed yet, please do so. Hit the like button, help the algorithm. Today we have Andra spilling more pearls of wisdom in the legal arena. And today's subject is death penalty, talking about Koberger. Let's go.
What happened? The cost of their appeals and facts, they sit there for years, cost when they're put to death, etc. In the long run, it costs more than just to let people sit. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. I don't know where you're getting your statistics from. For one inmate to be in prison for 1 year costs us almost $100,000 per inmate.
Jennifer Kovaleski and Jen, the reality here is if the shooter actually gets death, that's going to cost taxpayers a lot more money. It's going to cost a lot more money. It actually costs 6 to 8 times more than life in prison without parole. The reason is because lawyers cost more than prison guards. There are many phases to a death penalty trial.
No. Some of these people can last for 40 years. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. And depending on their medical conditions, it could rise from there. It really could. I'm not sure, Mel, where you're getting your information from, but I would really strongly look into the numbers and crunching the numbers. But no, that is absolutely incorrect. I'm very well versed on, at least here in Florida, how much it costs. In other states, it's even higher than that. Over in California, it costs anywhere between $250,000 to $300,000 per head in a prison. So you've got to look at the costs. But no, that's absolutely incorrect.
This is from penaltyinfo.org. The death penalty is far more expensive than a system utilizing life without parole sentences as an alternative punishment. Some of the reasons for the high cost of the death penalty are the longer trials and appeals required when a person's life is on the line, the need for more lawyers and experts on both sides of the case, and the relative rarity of execution. Most defendants who are sentenced to death essentially end up spending life in prison, but at a highly inflated cost because the death penalty was involved in the process.
Michael Radlett is a CU professor who studied the death penalty for more than 35 years. He says if the shooter is sentenced to death, it is also very unlikely he'll ever be executed. In the U.S., the average wait time between sentence to execution is about 20 years. He said what takes so long is the endless appeals process and reviews.
Darla Griffin, yes, she is one of 13 in the state and the only one in the area that is qualified.
Mel is speaking, of course, of death penalty qualified.
Well, Mel, I have a hard time taking any of your, because there's been 3 statements that you've made, 2 of them that I completely 100% have information that are contradict your statements. So when you say this, it makes me have to look into it. I don't like you've already made some statements that are untrue, at least to me, from my perspective. So it makes me question everything you say from that point forward. How do you know this? Because I don't like people coming into my chat and I don't mind different perspectives, but you're speaking fact with nothing to support fact.
Taylor is one of 13 public defenders in Idaho who were approved to lead a capital punishment case, but the only one in North Idaho, according to the statesman. Prosecutors have not yet indicted if they will seek the death penalty in Koberger's case. Yeah, that sentence didn't make sense, but there you go.
And I'm not sure if that's necessarily true. 1 of 13 in the state and the only one qualified? I don't necessarily believe that's true.
Here is Angela Palermo. Some important context. Ann Taylor is one of 13 public defenders in Idaho and the only one in North Idaho who are approved by the Public Defense Commission to lead a capital punishment case. Okay.
Yeah, She got proof wrong there. I don't know where. Oh Lord.
She's like $100,000, and no,
Yeah.
it costs like
Hey, Lady
$31,000.
Justice.
Oh, hey, Lady Justice.
Hey,
Hey, Lady Justice.
I'm
How are you?
not too bad. I'm kind of jumping in late, but I heard the gist of what's going on. I gotta admit, I even got misled, or my thoughts were wrong in the beginning of this, and I don't know why I had this moment of clarity tonight listening to you guys. But this whole conflict of interest deal is the way that it works. I don't know what the state rules are with conflict of interest there, but every state has rules of professional conduct that govern what a conflict of interest is. Every state is guided by what the American Bar Association rules of professional conduct are. They're not that different, okay, from state to state. As far as a conflict of interest goes, the conflict of interest is any lawyer, as soon as you take a case, before you even meet with someone, you do what's called a conflict check, okay? And if you're a public defender, it goes through the office, prosecutor, attorney general, anyone, it doesn't matter who it is. In some of the larger organizations, what can happen is there might be a conflict with another attorney in the firm, and what they do is it's called build a wall, which basically means they can't have any access to what it is that's happening with the particular case if you take it. In this case, with the public defender that took this Ann Taylor that represented the mom and some other family members, the conflict of interest rule is, in most states, is did you represent that person before in a matter that you would have had a conflict of interest to? So if she represented in this case, if she represented the victims, okay, and there's a direct conflict, that's where the conflict of interest would be. Extending it out to family members isn't generally the way that it works. There are some very complicated situations that it would be it might appear that there's a conflict of interest, and what we do is we detail it out. In my case, I detail it out in writing, and then you would have them sign off and say that it's okay to proceed. So like, it's the conflict of interest is being imputed in this case to family members, and that's not the way that the rules work. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And
Yep.
also,
Absolutely.
So then hang on. And then and Ashley, or all these other people that are doing it, if you're not thinking about it in the way that a conflict check would work, it does, have the appearance of not to, the optics are not that great. However, as far as the death penalty certified lawyers, in those cases, there is limited number, but what happens, like, the Casey Anthony case is a great example. Is you can have an attorney like Jose Baez, what a clown he was, but someone like him who, Jesus, I think he was still wet behind the ears when he took that case. And what he had to do was get an attorney on the case that was death penalty certified. And there's just, there's some parts of doing a death penalty case that's different procedurally, but 90% of it or more is the same as is defending someone in a murder case. It's just that you have the death penalty, so they put some additional protections in. In other words, a lawyer that's not death penalty certified may be better than some that are death penalty certified, but they have that additional certification. In terms of one being on the list and having to be in that locality because it's small and farming somebody out, that is not a big deal. And the cost, the amount of the cost to the county is going to be picking up the cost on these cases, is the cost to the county wouldn't be really any different than what it is having the public defender do it, because they're going to be on, they're going to be on contract. The
Okay, I mean, we just probably need to break it down because I'm low. I'm just so the conflict, like the conflict check, is that like a checklist of like what would be what would be a conflict? What would be in the conflict check? If I'm, just
so what happens is when you take a case, you cannot represent somebody that would be you're representing the exact opposite of what the interest. So if I represented you 20 years ago and now I take on a case to go against you, I can't do that.
is that because you would have information about me because you were a client?
Absolutely. That's
Is
what
that
the
is
conflict is.
is that the conflict here? She's claiming that maybe like she got information from the mother that could help Brian in his case. Is that what she's probably getting around with?
Well,
But what?
that would assume facts that are, not in evidence or that we don't even know, because
Yeah.
she doesn't even know that this, the way she said it was that like she didn't even know that she withdrew. Now, like I trying to say at the beginning is when Ann Taylor got assigned the case, and when they do these cases, most of the time it's a random draw. As to who it's a random draw, or it's who's next on the list. And courts do that different for felony contracts is so that it's dispersed kind of equally, and it helps with caseloads. So when Ann Taylor got the assignment on this case, she would have run through the database to see if she's ever represented anyone, any of the victims.
Yeah.
Okay. She didn't represent any of the victims. The mom didn't come up. Now, so she, would have been able to proceed on this. The fact that, like, I don't know, what doesn't make sense to me is someone will have to remind me if the last names are the same. But what doesn't make sense to me is it would seem like the name would kind of stick out a little bit. In a conflict check, the same name would show up, and it might say, hey, you might want to, let so-and-so know, but it doesn't mean that they have a conflict. And that, to take on the case and then to get to the point where you find out you're representing the mom and you withdraw from her representation, which she can do, and not inform her, though, is shitty optics. I don't know, how you could withdraw from a case and not inform the client. And we keep talking about how small the place is, which makes it even more inexcusable to not inform the client. And in this situation, you might have wanted to have a little bit of a layer and had somebody else in the office do the informing. But
the same, they have the same last. Well, on the substitution of counsel, it's it's Carnodal. But then I saw her other name on another document, so I don't know. But on the
so either way, she has the right to withdraw, and somebody else in the office could represent her. And again, it would be, if it's really structured like a public defender's office, then there would be a wall on that, and what they would do, a conflict wall. And then the best case scenario would be to refer it out. Carnoodle's
This
mom
has a substitution on here, and they give her a new lawyer right on this substitution of counsel.
But is it within the defender's office or a private referral?
It's no, it's in the public defender's office.
Okay, so then they'll just have to wall it off just to be safe. But even, ethically, they're not, required to do that. Where, it would come in is the mom has rights as, a victim, and the mom's rights as victim would be, at the time, from now until if he should be convicted, she's going to be dealing with the prosecutor's office, and she would still have the right to make a statement and all that. It's just really getting another attorney. But again, the optics aren't the greatest, but it's not this big grave thing.
Yeah.
And I just found out $33K a year is the average.
33
per year.
Yeah, 33 to 40K. But my next question is, You mentioned something about a public, like what if they couldn't find, and I might be misunderstanding, so correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
That if they couldn't find another public defender for this guy, then the state could hire someone privately using funds.
Yes. In fact, in federal and state, what happens is the defender's office, your public defender's office at the federal and the state level. What happens is, in most places, there's, the office handles some of the matters, but for higher level, cases, felony cases like murders, like, multiple murders, terrorist threats, those types of things, those go to attorneys that have more experience, that are more acclimated, with the courts and the system and the experience, and they'll go out to them because of the caseload of the defender's office, so that they can get really, it's not better representation, because I know public defenders that are absolutely astounding. It's the caseload, in the way that these offices are developed. And then what would happen is they bill at a reduced rate, so say that their rate is, for private retention is 500, 600, 800 an hour. They're not going to get that amount of money. What they do is they either get a contract amount, or what they do is they get a reduced fee amount, like they might be doing the case for 200 an hour. So, and then the expenses, which will be high in this case with all the, different scientific evidence and experts and all that, there's not going to be any difference in what those costs are. It's just a matter of if the county is paying the defender's office, or the county is paying, private counsel that's been assigned.
Now, you watch Banfield. Do you think she purposely omitted that fact, that the consent form, like that Brian would sign, the waiver that he would sign, or do you think she just didn't mention it, forgetting about it? Like, what is your opinion? Like, did she say all the facts, or did she leave things out in her interview? Not interview, her.
Well, I think she was thinking of it like the optics, right? It seems outrageous, but I don't know that he would sign. There's no conflict of interest that he would have to sign a waiver on, or that the mom would, because again, the victim is not the mom, that she, had the direct interests that were, opposing him. But the good optics would have been to inform and tell him, like, so I represented one of the alleged victims in this case. I represented the mom, and, with related to drug charges, and I had some POA over her to try to get her into rehab, which is that power of attorney, to try to get her into rehab. But I don't know anything about the victim. We never discussed it. We never did this and that. And someone like me, I'd follow it up in writing, and then he would say, fine.
Would your answer change if I use the word consent form? Because
it's a waiver of the conflict of interest.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I'm just making sure, because someone mentioned the consent form, and
it's a waiver. It's a waiver of the conflict of interest. I mean, I guess you could say it's a consent to the waiver of the conflict of interest,
even though there really isn't
some. There are some that you can waive, some conflicts of interest that you can waive because they're a little bit removed, and then there's some that are just not waivable at all.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even come in. So I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of haven't. I kind of alluded to last night. I had a really crazy week, but I don't know where things are or where things are with the court. But I will say that, she's very competent, and I would think that what's happening in the court level and the scuttlebutt around there is you don't do a high profile cases like this, and like they don't have their ducks in a row, so to speak. If it was questionable at all, they would have asked for, that's a behind the scenes thing. And I don't know that she would have done it, but what I would have done is I would have, ran the conflict issue if, perception, through the office. You know, it's not just one person, and there's a lot of years of experience. And then you go above and beyond. In my state, you call, you know, your state bar ethics line, and they will give you the opinion as well. And judges know. So I highly doubt that the details of this hasn't been run through what I'm discussing.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, it seems like I had one other question about, like, people were saying that, like, you could do either preliminary hearing or grand jury, and that they could actually, even though they set a preliminary hearing date for June, that the prosecutors could sidestep that and do a grand jury. Do you think that, I mean, is that, could that happen? Does that happen often where they set something and then just like do it behind closed doors? Because what are your thoughts about that?
I don't even know why that's being discussed, because in a state where they've already done the charges, like for example, in my state, if they've already charged him and he's got the, you know, his preliminary exam is the grand jury, it's already jumped over the grand jury state. My state is not a grand jury state. I mean, the prosecutor does the charges and we run them through a prelim. If there's the probable cause, then they get waived over into, you know, the circuit court or the higher court for the felonies.
How do
and
we-
it goes like that. But why
they could choose in Idaho? They could choose, and so somebody was saying
That's what I was going to ask.
They
I think it would
they
be,
could set the date and then do it anyway. You know, people were
it
just
would
talking
be,
about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would be a waste of time, because the reason that the charges, a grand jury is going to go on a case where you're not going to have the solid, granted it's circumstantial, but there's solid circumstantial that ties him in. So why you would do a grand jury to do the indictment would be just to delay. And the fact that they're already, I don't know what the you know, rules of civil procedure or criminal procedure are there, but I don't think that once he gets in and he waives, you know, the 14-day rule,
Then you have to go in
does
that
all that,
direction.
he's already acknowledged that he has the charges, and he's waiving the procedural rules for a 14-day, you know, to have prelim within 14
waived the
days.
speedy trial, the preliminary speedy trial part, where
Well,
he still
I
didn't.
guess what I'm saying is, it's not that, is what it is he's already in a grand jury. You're not, you know, availing yourself to the court. Okay.
Yeah.
It's all happening behind the scenes. He's already made a court appearance, has an attorney, has pled not guilty to the charges that have been read to him. And the evidence is already being, you know, I have absolutely no doubt that Aim Taylor already has boxes and boxes, banker's boxes full of documents and evidence. So why you would have a grand jury indict him makes absolutely no sense to me.
Okay, that's good to hear from you, because people were, everybody's been, it's like one of those rumors that are going around that it could be happening just because the high publicity nature of this case and blah, blah, blah. But having you explain it now, I understand, like, it doesn't make any sense.
I just don't see a situation, because he's already, you know, appeared in court.
Already
and
appeared once.
Down the process. And it would
surety.
be quicker. And, you know, the only thing would be is, you know, like, say in a situation like this, he's already into the system. All right. He's already availed himself of the court, pled not guilty, etc. Is, let's just say the grand jury is, you know, investigating. They get a grand jury and they're, you know, investigating, doing a parallel investigation because it has to do with financial crimes or something like that, but not on the same issue. I don't see that even remotely being efficient, productive, even if it is, you know, within their rules out there.
Got it.
Lady Justice, I really appreciate every time that you come up here on panel and you explain it, and you allow us to take the time to have you break down what you just told us. I'm so appreciative of that. And I know that many of the other members of the Hive are as well.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, no problem. I just, you know, I don't even know why I do it, except it drives me crazy to listen to the crazy shit that people say that don't even have law degrees. You know what I'm saying?
Are we saying anything? Are we? Wait,
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No. It's just like, I'm talking more about like Bullhorn Betty, you know. But like stuff that's so, you know, kind of it. I say it's basic, but it's not. I mean, that's the thing about the law is, you go to undergrad for 4 years, then you go to law school, which really teaches you how to think. Then you pass the bar exam, which just says you know the substance, the subject matter, right?
Yeah.
But it's the practice. I mean, we
like
call it
everything.
practicing law. It's 3 years, and every day, not every day, but I'm still learning. And you're learning ways to do things as things change, and how you apply, the facts to the law, and any given case is not always the same. I mean, so it's someone that's practicing law and they're doing, and they're successful. It's harder than it looks. And it's not something you can Google. So that's where you guys Google and you guys do the research, and like you told me on the substitution, it was already, given and stayed within in the office. You do that, but you don't understand how it applies, which why should you? I mean,
Yeah, the practical side of it is
you learn while doing.
As an attorney, do you what do you think would be recommended for people to read if they want to get like better understanding of these procedures and stuff like that? Even for content creators, if they want to get a better understanding of the whole legal side of it,
I don't know, because it's very difficult. I mean, I was watching a what is it? The Mark Johnson case, which is the guy that poisoned his wife with antifreeze.
Oh
yeah, the antifreeze trial.
Yeah, and he was convicted was it 15, 20 years ago, and they let in a letter that his wife wrote saying, if I'm ever die, he's the one that did it. And so it went to the Court of Appeals in Wisconsin, then went to the Supreme Court in Wisconsin, then went to the United States Supreme Court, and they ruled that you have the constitutional right to confront, the evidence and the witnesses against you. And she can't, she's in the grave. You can't, cross-examine her, is what, the right to confront.
Yeah.
And the Constitution is really cross-examine a court. So you can't cross-examine her in the grave. So that's why he got a retrial. But where I'm going with this is extremely experienced attorneys on both sides. I know that the prosecutor's the same guy that, did the prosecution before. And the defense attorneys are extremely qualified and experienced. And they're fighting over, medical records. Can a medical record get in? And there's hearsay within hearsay in the document and blah, blah, blah. So when you're saying, what would I suggest that creators read to understand? It's really, I can't give you anything if lawyers still even argue about, once you get into it. I mean, that's where I say you kind of have to understand how different things apply. You can read the rules. And I think that's what, Blowfraud does, is she reads some of these rules like she's a Google lawyer, but you don't understand how to apply the rule to the factual situation.
She couldn't figure out 100,000. It was we Googled it in maybe 2 minutes that it's 33K.
Not even 2 minutes. It was about 30 seconds.
It's crazy.
Minutes to sobriety.
I agree.
Go watch trials in person to get a better understanding.
By the way,
or just watching them in general. I learned so much by watching trials.
I was laughing when Venice Prim Sobriety did this new video. Like literally, he got Donald Trump. He got Donald Trump to stand on a podium and introduce Molly Golightly and her fupa in the
no way.
And then proceeded to
so
have Donald Trump whenever she started speaking, had Donald Trump renounce denounce her, calling her a turn up and everything in Donald Trump's voice. It was just hilarious.
Like the Samuel Jackson one. Yeah, he was really good. Super good.
I think you guys do good, and that's where I compliment everybody, that's on the panel, and QueenBee, Tim, voices, all of you guys
thank you.
You do have the logic and the reasoning, and you're not just taking it as it is, and when it's not adding, when it's not adding up, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I like is you're not into the blaming and shaming as collateral damage, family members who are related to somebody who may have been charged with a crime or a bad deed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absent the evidence, which is, that Quentin Simon, I can't remember what the grandmother's name is, but Billy
BJ.
Joe.
Billy Joe.
Yeah. Is, what they, did to, her. They're not doing that to Brian Koberger's parents, are they?
No.
Right.
Well, Molly kind of did. Molly kind of did. Molly
Well,
went after
yeah,
the mom.
because she raised, saint that has never done anything wrong or would never be accused of doing anything wrong. I mean, that absentee mom that's online like 24 hours a day, and when she's not, she's out, traveling and drinking and pill popping and whatever else she does. I mean, the thing is bad things happen to good people.
Oh yeah.
So that's what I respect about it. And I respect that you're willing, that you're willing to listen to it. I do remember, I have to say, Queen, the first time I was, I think I was in your chat and Laura was on, and I don't want to get into bashing creators, but always being the devil's advocate to the extreme and nonsensical most cases. And that's what I thought your channel was kind of associated with her. And I just couldn't deal with it. And somehow I got back to you. I think it was in the Simon case. And I just thought, I just don't like all the drama and the misinformation and people that block you or condemn you because you actually factually might know what's going on.
Yeah. I rather learn. Like,
really irritates the fucking shit out of me when people do that.
Yeah.
Or you try to correct them or you can help them and they block you right away. I'm like, okay, that's it.
Because I think we all need to learn. Like,
I'm glad you found your way back because Laura was, I think she only came around because, other people were over here or.
Yeah, I know exactly why she was there, to push it and ramp it up with someone else that's on the panel right now. But
and I think she was trying to sub grab.
Oh, well, sometimes I have to pull my bad behavior and act out. But
it might be, though, you're right. It could have just been a sub grab because I guess she's back in Molly's chat. And Molly's trash talking her even when she's in
See, I don't even know Molly talks the shit out of her, so I don't know why she's over there anyway.
You know what I mean? Like, what the hell?
It's coming up on Valentine's Day.
Guys, be careful. You're talking too much about it. She'll make a live about us about it for 30 seconds. We talked about her. She'll
talk about it. I think that the biggest thing is keep doing the research, keep doing what you're doing. I didn't jump on. I don't think I jumped on when you did the when they unsealed the search warrant. I was actually on the road. Yeah, that was last week too, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there wasn't, there was no there. And I think you guys didn't go through the whole thing. You just went through what was new. And, they're not really, that, oh no, I did talk to you. There's not that much there. And I said, I'm waiting on what's going on with what was in his car.
Yeah, they have. That's a good, why they never released that. That's an interesting.
Yeah, that's not released yet from even when
well, nobody's on it. Like none of the media's on it, I think is why it's not released.
The Pennsylvania search warrant, like even from the house there, because he must have, if he was home for a month, he had stuff with him, a computer probably.
You bring up an interesting point. We should be looking into things they don't mention and talk about, and which is they haven't mentioned one thing about the car, because definitely that car would be searched. I mean, like.
Oh, and they have to have results. And if they have the search warrant and they seized it, you have to file what it is that you found. And nobody has reported on that. They not only did they take his car, but they searched the parents' house.
Yeah, they had to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then they had, the evidence that they took out of the neighbors, garbage or the garbage that was on the street there. You're not going to get that because that wasn't search warrant. But whatever they took via search warrant had to be reported.
Is it because it was done by like Pennsylvania or like FBI? Is that why it's not available yet? Like, what would be the reason you think?
Whoever signed the search warrant, so look this up because I haven't dug into it.
I'll look into
it. Warrant, which it would seem that jurisdiction is in Pennsylvania. So you had to have a judge in Pennsylvania in the jurisdiction, whatever that county is that he lives in Pennsylvania. Some judge there, and it's usually the lower court judge that signs those warrants, but they had to have that warrant signed. And then when the warrant is signed, they have to report back what they got, unless it's, The only thing I can think of why they haven't, you know, in addition to nobody really being on it, is why they might have a state where they don't have to publicly disclose it.
Oh, in Pennsylvania, possibly, because I'm
Yeah,
sure like
I
people
don't
FOIA
know,
everything.
but I want to know what they got in his
I'll look
car.
into it. I'm gonna look into
I
it
watched
now.
a little bit of some clips on the Murdoch trial, and that case is, you know,
Oh yeah, I've been
wealthy
following that
lawyer
too.
that, you know, supposedly killed his wife and his son, and
Mhm.
has like hundreds of millions of dollars that he stole that he's
You know,
going to stay in prison for. But
I have a
It's so
question.
complicated, that
I have a
trial.
question since you're on. You know, that's great. You brought it up. Why? How was he able to gain access to? Like, I heard when he did the settlement for the mother, the nanny that fell down the stairs because the dog, allegedly, let's just say, housekeeper. Thank you,
Gloria.
thank you, the housekeeper Gloria. And they got the settlement money. How was he able to gain access to money that the other guy was doing the case for? That's because
what happens is when you settle a case, so he took the case on, and the kids, right, her kids were minors. So he probably and there was a settlement, there wasn't a trial.
Yeah.
So well, still, the way that it works is you have to open up an estate because she's dead, to pursue the claim, and you have the minor children.
and he would be the
So there's
administrator.
no waiver. Yeah, there's no waiver, anything that's
Personal
needed.
rep of the estate.
Yes, right. So he
The law.
assigned him.
Yes.
I don't know who he assigned as personal representative, but he can't be the PR. Well, he could be the PR and the attorney, but that would look weird. So what he probably did was maybe made himself or somebody that
He had
didn't
somebody
have
else involved
the knowledge,
that got
the
in trouble. Yeah, so
personal
it's probably
rep.
this other guy.
And
Yeah.
then you pursue the whole case. The insurance company pays you the money. The check comes in the name of the attorney's name and the estate of, okay. And then the way it should have worked is then that's why I don't understand this case. Then what happens is when the case settles, you have to go into court and have a hearing. And the rules even changed in my 30 years. So the rules used to be you go into the circuit court, which is where you would get the sign off on the ability to settle the case, and then what you're saying the recommended distribution would be. And there was a couple of kids there, I think. So anyway, you have to do that, and you'd have to go because the court has to sign off on what the attorney's fees and costs are, and you have to present them. And usually it's a third, right, that he would get off the top after the costs are deducted, which there must not have been that much.
Yeah, it settled quickly. Like it literally was so quick. It was insane.
But so because it was so quick, what happens is when you're an attorney and you do a lot of that kind of work, and they're a dynasty in that status, he might have done a couple of letters and never opened up anything. And when it settled, the check came to his law firm, but I don't know how you would still in the death. It would still have to be in death cases I've done. It's still like the insurance company's going to know there's a death. So
somebody in chat said that he faked the structured settlement company
because it got involved with like different banks. They also like sued like the Palmetto State Bank. They all sued Bank of America. So I think the bank.
So then if they did the bank says is a structured settlement. So the structured settlement is getting paid out over time. And then when the money came to those kids, it went to his law firm. He somehow would have put his name, because that's, I think, how he stole all the other money. Is in a trust account.
It was through B of A.
We have. Well, no, it's not through a bank that you're stealing.
No, I mean it was I'm saying the family. That's how they that's how it would. The suit was against B of A, and that's how he
because of the fraudulent signature and deposit. Probably. So what happens is the money comes to you as the lawyer, and it'll have your name on it and the client, or in this case, it would be the estate. Because it's commingled funds, because you're some of it is yours and some of it is the client, you have to put it in what's called an attorney's trust account. And these with the the personal injuries, there's two different kinds. With a personal injury claim, it's that attorney trust account that it goes.
Your mic just cut out, baby, or it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Better.
So I might have put my fingers over my because I'm on my phone. So what happens then is you call the client in and they endorse the back of the check and the attorney endorses the back of the check. It goes into your trust account and then the attorney takes out their share of it and another check goes to the client. So where the fraud came in any way, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there's all these steps that were, even if he settled it, he still should have opened up an estate. But you forge the signature on the back of the check. It goes in the trust account. And then he just took the money out of that. And there was a structured, because even with a structure, I'm sure he got some money paid up front. Okay. So then you're just taking the money out of the trust account. And that's how he stole all the other money that, his law partners are saying, the millions of dollars that were stolen.
Yeah.
Now, do you
But
think...
I don't know how you don't reconcile that and someone gets away with that. That's just effed up.
Well, eventually he got caught.
Well,
because they found like a check on his desk or something that wasn't.
Yeah, he deposited it into the forged settlement accounts.
Okay, so right. And then the bank, because it's an attorney trust account, they don't really do anything with those accounts because they don't make money. What happens is any interest on those accounts goes to the state bar. They don't, it doesn't go to the attorney or to the client. They go to the state bar because you're required to have those accounts. So they're really, in most cases, they're just pass-through accounts. Like I just made a deposit in mine on Friday, made a deposit. It'll take, 24 hours because they don't put holds on mine. And then I take the money and take it from that account and, write the check to the one and transfer the other in my account. Now, but they're really not overseeing that. And, with a lot of money.
Overseeing that. Oh, okay.
With a lot of money, though, and insurance
get a bank manager involved.
Maybe, but with insurance checks, which is weird because I get checks that are paid from, private parties as well as insurance. With insurance checks, they hold those checks, which always drives me crazy, but they'll put like a 5-day or a 7-day hold on it, 5 business days, because they want to make sure it's good. And it's like, what do you think? I forged or made up this check? Well, actually, it'd be the quickest way to do some counterfeiting because they're billion-dollar companies, right?
Well, look what Dietz said. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of how his fraud, but it wasn't.
Yeah, that's what I saw too.
I think that his theft might have started then, and it's like they say with people that steal $1, then it's 100, then it's 1,000, right?
Oh, he's a sole proprietor, DBA. Oh, I get
Okay, I just want to read Dietz's what she said. He made a BOA account under the name, quote, Richard A. McDuff.
That's Bank of America, I would assume, right?
Yeah, let me just read the whole. Prop, DBA, Forge. Forge is a legit financial consulting company. So they thought it was going to Forge, but it went to him. Okay, that's just want to read that.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know, but it going back to the Brian case is so in the Murdoch case, they just did this testimony Friday. And, it's the blood splatter and, all of that kind of stuff. And they, when they searched his vehicle, where do they go? They're going on the floorboard. They're going, on the console that you lean on. They're going on the shifter. They're going on the pulling the door shut, to look for any signs, right, of blood. So we got the same thing in Brian's car. It's almost the exact same thing. Like, how did you leave a murder scene? Because Murdoch was there. He says, I showed up there and he says that he tried to turn his son over, and he had brain material and everything all over. I mean, it was graphic, gross, disgusting.
I'm sure it was very
white.
white.
Again, you guys can take what I told you would happen in this, Idaho case. Is the same thing that's happening, there is you're on a bloody, scene and the photos are absolutely grotesque. Nobody is seeing those photos. They're, the jury does, but they're covered up. Nobody in the gallery. They're even covering monitors. Nobody in the gallery can even see what that is that they're showing of the crime scene. But they show the crime scene. They show him in the truck. He gets in with the law enforcement and is being interviewed, right? But he drove his own car down there, and it tells you exactly what they're searching for in his car, right? And I don't know what they found because the trial isn't that far yet, but it's the same thing with Brian's car. What was in it? You can't get in a car and if this was a knife case and not a gun, where you're looking for gunpowder and residue of that as well. But like, what did they find? We know they found, I'd be shocked if they found nothing. Maybe given the length of time, but nobody has filed a return on that warrant.
The one in Pennsylvania, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
So it'll be interesting. But
I feel like they, with Murdoch, they did find, like, I think on his seatbelt. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah, I don't.
It didn't come in yet to trial.
Did you watch
there was,
this,
like, a
Lady
seatbelt.
Justice? Did you ever watch this?
Yeah, I did watch that last night, actually.
Yeah, we were watching it, and I'm like,
What do
oh
you
my
think?
God, I wish she was here. We were going through it.
I like to know what she thinks about it.
Oh, you watched it last night?
Yep.
Yeah, we watched it on the live last night.
Well, I thought was kind of bizarre is that the guy in the back seat is his personal attorney that he called on the scene.
A real estate lawyer. Somebody said,
we were talking about that, and then when you hear him say some weird stuff, you want me to play it, or do you want me to just let it be?
You can. I don't care. If you
I'll
want
put
to,
it's like 5 or 6 minutes, but we stop it and talk to her because he acts real funny, and then he starts coughing and talking. Like, I mean, I feel like when he starts coughing, he almost like a little kid that gets in trouble that's like crying, like like
he has like a and somebody brought this up. I don't know because I haven't been watching anything. What is it? He has like a nervous.
Was on opioids or opiates.
Yeah,
too.
well, yeah. I mean, he definitely somebody that does like those kinds of things is, I mean, it's just something we see as lawyers and
Clears his
judges.
throat a lot.
You've got it.
But I mean, and the opiates they dry you, like they dry you, they dry your sinuses out and stuff. So if you haven't had them or whatever, you're gonna start sneezing and coughing and
sniffles. You know what I mean? The whole nine.
Yeah. So he had like in court, even he has this weird bobbing, like almost of a tick with nerves.
Oh, his head going like up.
Yeah.
And, like he's nodding.
Yeah, I just seen a clip from the court.
Yeah. So I don't know what his deal is, but yeah, I mean, definitely. There was no. Here's the part I don't know. Did he really have an addiction that was that out of control? I do believe he did.
Yeah.
Because how else
He went to rehab.
I think. I was gonna say, and I think opiates. You can get out of control with opiates quick.
Yeah, but it was a real addiction. Got it. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But how do we know how bad the
know?
addiction was? Because that's after he's confronted with stealing millions. He's a lawyer with the mind of,
It could be.
How much
it works? Is he faking it to
It
say
just takes
that
a couple
I was
weeks
under
to get
the
addicted,
influence?
and then you're
But
go to
how
rehab
about how much do you have? I mean, that's a lot of drugs to spend millions of dollars on if he's doing that. I mean, where'd the money go? That's a lot.
But there's like also like saying that he was a gambler too. I've heard that.
Well, that's where your money went, probably.
Yeah.
Well, you got to look into it. He went to rehab for opiate abuse, so.
Yeah, but the opiate abuse.
Well, Deep said he tested positive after the fake attempted unaliving.
Oh, yeah, when that guy tried.
Yeah, and that's when he went, and he you can do the pills, but the other thing that's kind of weird is I haven't heard. I didn't hear an opening statement, which I did hear the opening statements. Is I didn't hear anything. There's no suggestion. If he was into pills this big, guys, like, he I don't think he would have owed anybody any money, but he sure could have paid somebody to do this, right? To his wife and his son, given
people
the
talk
other
about
liability. But they're not even referring to that. And then the other theory is about the cell phone that he was on the scene when he killed his son, and his son was doing a Snapchat that he sent to his friend, right? And the prosecutor was holding up the phone and whatever. And you can see, Alex Murdoch in the background of that last snap. Well, why would you withhold that bombshell? And the defense would know. So that's why I don't I'll be shocked if that's the case, because why wouldn't the defense, we already can see where they're crafting the defense around the facts. They would be crafting a defense around why that would be, because they have
But
the
they're
evidence.
not though.
You're
Yeah, I mean, it
required,
puts them there a few minutes before, like, their phones go dead
but you're
forever.
required. The defense has
Yeah, the
every single
discovery.
piece of evidence that the prosecutor does.
Yeah.
So you're saying, why aren't they building a defense around that part of it, right?
Yeah. Like nobody's referenced it at all, even alluded to it. And he's had some of the chief investigators have already testified, and nobody has brought it up. Like that would
There's
have
somebody
been.
coming from Snapchat, is on the witness list, I heard, or somebody from the company.
But
So I wonder.
even if you had Snapchat, the Snapchat people gave it to the.
No,
the
I'm just
police
saying,
have
like,
the
maybe they're
evidence,
trying to
right?
refute it or something with time. I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm saying maybe that's like from the defense, could be the defense trying to, because they said it's a huge piece of evidence because it puts him all of them at the kennels, and he said he wasn't even at the
Yeah, and I find it hard to
so.
refute something like that. I wonder how they're going to go about that.
Well, and then the gunpowder in the middle of the raincoat that, quote, tarp that was recovered from his mom's house. There is a defense to that. These guys, that's coming out really clear, is they're gun lovers. I mean, they have the hunting dogs. Who has
Over
a kennel full
25
of
guns,
hunting
they said
dogs
he had.
just for sport, and gun rooms and
Yeah,
shell casings all over the place,
And the shell
Why
casings
wasn't there
match
cameras
the
around the
ones
kennel?
that were you.
All those
They
dogs.
have deer
cameras around
cameras.
the kennel.
No
very
cameras.
weird to
They
me.
have like some deer. They have some deer ones, but
Yeah,
that's it.
just
But
deer
they're like
stands,
way out.
not around there. He mentions, but how do you not have video surveillance around all those hunting dogs?
I don't know. That is unusual. But it's gated property, though. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't, even if other animals, are getting in there, if they hunt on that property, I don't know. But
Bullhorn got in. She was walking right near the kennels. Did you see her video? She walked in and was walking like right up to the kennels. I think it's kind of easy. I mean, there is a gate, but
well, do they own the estate
It was
anymore?
so disgusting.
it's under contract right now.
Oh,
I
they're
think
renting it.
I think someone else owns it now. I don't know. I heard.
Yeah, it's in the
something like that.
process of switching over.
Maybe a land contract or something.
It just
leasing
says under contract online. It says under contract, so somebody bought it.
But you still can't trespass.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No, you definitely can't. Yeah.
If she
You
goes
saw
to
her.
jail,
She walked right up there.
I have a question for you, Lady Justice. If Bullhorn Betty goes to jail, will you represent her as pro se? Will you represent
no,
her?
hell no.
I knew that was the answer.
A hard no.
I'll be calling up the defender's office and making sure they know how much money that she makes.
Oh no.
Her grift, so she can afford a lawyer.
Bada bing.
You sure she's the greatest? She could be your paralegal she'll work for you for free. I mean, she's the greatest paralegal of all time. She knows medical, legal terms. She's the greatest.
I think there's some people on your panel that I would hire before I would hire her.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, she don't have any logic and reasoning. And know-it-alls don't work in this business,
Absolutely.
Right. Not at all.
So, Queen, you were asking about the tape and the conversation around the taped interview of him in the car. I thought it was
popped that back up. I have it right here. I just popped this on so everybody could get a view of the house and the dog kennels and how far away it is. Like, this is the house, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it shows it's really quick, but there's the house and then here's the kennels, and it kind of gives you an idea of how it was set up.
How far that is, like, for them to walk home. And I did hear that too. There's no vehicle. There was no evidence of a vehicle that
They said it's a third of a mile.
I would think they would have like
4 minutes or so. Like,
it's only a third of a mile. Okay.
I know. I found out where they said
But-
it. They said in the opening statements, it's a third of a mile. It takes 45 seconds to drive.
Yeah, but it's not that
The
far to walk.
911
They could have walked.
operator,
Like 4 minutes. Yeah.
the 911 the 911 call shows that he was about at the halfway mark. Oh, it would be more over here to the left. He was between, like, the property sits at kind of like a square, with the dog kennels being on
Yeah.
the lower left and the house being on the upper
Right there.
right.
Right there.
And
Yep.
yeah, yep. And
It
so
seemed big, longer too, to me. I thought it was more like a half a mile or more, but they said a
But-
third of a mile.
his cell phone pinged with what would be the upper left corner of the square.
Yeah.
During the timing
And-
of, right?
There was also the 911 call where he was saying he was taking it, that they told him to take his gun back to the house.
He said he went and got a gun because he was
Yeah.
scared or whatever.
I don't know the cell phone ping. You know the answer on the cell phone ping. The cell phone ping, given the geography, you know what I mean, could be
Right.
off, but,
It can't be that specific.
But
It
the-
could be within like
the
yeah.
story
Right.
doesn't. Even the, I went back because I was scared. Whatever, all of that. You said in the car you tried to turn Paul over, and there was
Yeah.
so much blood. It was
And
all
look at
over the
his-
ground everywhere.
there's
and you
not a
don't have
drop
blood
on
on
him.
your hands.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, he
On his
said,
arms.
and he says, "Oh, he's got brain matter." And listen, we'll stop it because I'll tell you what, his body language is,
And
it's weird to me, and he has not a speck of blood on his white ass t-shirt.
Yeah, he's
so.
cleaner than most people. Like he's
That's
like,
a really clean shirt. Yeah.
Yes.
And how
Like
would
he's
you
wearing all day.
walk up to, and they were talking about the dog kennels, which I thought was weird, but and the testimony about the dog kennels when, one of the first investigators is like there was a bunch of water there, like the water, maybe like they're trying to say like he tried to, wash himself off or something like that.
It's dry.
And it was raining that night as
Well,
well. That's why
but
they're in the car.
But the water was pooled is what they were saying.
Yeah.
And
okay, yeah.
And so then the defense attorney, which his defense attorney is phenomenal, is gets a little annoying, but he does his job. But he says, like, don't you know, like when dog kennels, when they defecate, you hose them out, which is like the truth. And the water's gonna, pool from that. And that's, Maggie and Paul, maybe that's what they were up there doing. But where I think he's got a huge problem is you said, but he did say, I think I tried to turn Paul over in the brain matter and whatever. Well, there's so much blood because it was a bullet, right? Like the gunshot to the head. There's blood, all over. And they're talking about footprints that they tracked and what they saw or they didn't see. Well, there would be footprints right next to Paul and there'd be blood on his shoes at a minimum.
At a
brain
minimum.
matter and whatever.
One
Deet-
drop.
Deet says, yeah, she's gonna send Queen the shirt. I guess there are some blood spots on the original shirt.
I'll pop
There's
it up
another
then when we
shirt
get it.
that
I'm gonna
they-
play this real quick.
And real quick,
Go,
before you
girl.
play that, lady, there's a spot. This could be a tinfoil hat thing. I was talking about the girls last night when everybody was on. When he asked, the lawyer will come out of nowhere and tell him to charge the phone. Let me know what you think about that. I could be so far-fetched on it, but I just want to know your thoughts when it does
Oh,
happen.
wait, and I'll pay attention to that too, because I thought the thing about turning his son over, I tried to turn him over, and then his phone popped out of his pocket, and I tried to do something with the phone, but then I dropped it. That whole thing was weird too, but go ahead and run the tape.
Really weird. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, when he said he grabbed his son's phone, he was going to use it, and then he dropped it. He wasn't going to use it, and then that was weird as hell. Yeah.
Yep.
But
So he was
the
saying my
lawyer
fingerprints
talking
are gonna
about
be-
charging his phone, I don't think has anything to do with anything. But
We'll see. I know. I just wanted her take on it. That's all.
All right, roll it.
All right, sir. I left the house without my watch.
12:57.
All right, Mr. Murdoch, state your full name for me, please.
Richard Alexander Murdoch.
And spell your last name so I get it correct.
Murdaughh.
All right. And you go by Alec?
Yes, sir.
And date of birth, Mr. Murdoch?
May 27th, 1968.
And a good phone number for you.
803-942-0100. 1227.
All right, sir. And sir, what was your name?
Yeah, Danny Henderson.
Okay. All right. As I stated, I'm David Owen in Lower Rutland with Colleton County, and I'm with SLED. I hate to have to do this.
I
but
understand.
yeah,
I totally
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
So you don't have any problem
Yeah.
with it.
So just start at the top, take your time.
Like when I came back here, I mean, I pulled up and I could see him, and I knew something was bad. I ran out. I knew it was really bad. My boy over there, I could see it was.
I'm so sorry.
And I could see his brain on his. And I ran over to Maggie, and actually, I think I tried to turn Paul over first. I tried to turn him over, and I don't know, I figured it out. His cell phone popped out of his pocket. I started to try to do something with it, thinking maybe, but then I put it back down really quickly. Then I went to my.
That was super sketch right there.
Done really quickly.
Maybe I could do something with it, but then I put it down real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And how does a cell phone pop out of a pocket when
Right?
somebody is shot in the head?
And he said, I think I turned him over.
Maybe that's a new app or something.
Now wait, though. But if the kid was Snapchatting and given his age, and Paul still had it in his hand, if he still had it in his hand when he was shot, then it wasn't in his pocket; it was around his body, and Dad might have picked it up.
Yeah, because it was like a few minutes before, like if the timeline they're going by.
And if he rolls him over like he said he did, it could have flipped out of his hand.
Mm.
Does Cody Jones asked, does anyone have the ID on the lady cop in the back seat?
Yeah. Know who she is?
Does anyone know?
She testified on Friday.
I thought another. Oh, okay, I was gonna say officer or detective.
Yeah, she testified on Friday. She's the one that prepared the search warrant. And she kind of, I think, had a different career and then decided that she liked, maybe she was a social worker. Then she decided she liked this, police kind of work, and went and got her degree in that. And she was called from her home that night. Yes, it's Rutland. Yes. Went, and did the search warrant, prepared, and then went on the scene. And she was newer to the job at that time. And so that's what you see. She knows the camera's on, so she's just sitting there, right? Because she knows it's all being recorded.
Right.
Yeah.
And you see him look up at the camera a couple times.
Yeah, he kind of knows where it is, it seems like.
My wife, and I mean, I could see.
Did you touch Maggie at all?
I did. I touched them both.
Okay.
I tried to take. I tried to do it as limited as possible, but I tried to take their pulse on both of them. And I called 911 pretty much right away, and she was very good. I talked to her. I told her I was going to get off the phone to call some family members. I did that.
What family members did you call?
I called my brother Randy, and I called my brother John. And I tried to call a little boy, real good friend that's right around the corner from here, but I didn't get him.
What all was around Paul when you walked up?
Blood.
Anything else?
I mean, there were some body things, yes, sir.
I mean, like any other evidence? I know you said the phone fell out the pocket, but did you see anything else that didn't belong or shouldn't belong or that wasn't part of Paul?
No, sir, not. No, sir.
How about Maggie?
No, sir.
You didn't see anything around them? What made you come out here tonight?
I went to, my mom's a late stage Alzheimer's patient. My dad's in the hospital. My mom gets anxious when she does. I went to check on them and Maggie. Maggie's a dog lover, and she fools with the dogs. And I knew she'd gone to the kennel. I was at the house. I left the house and went to my mom's for just a little while. Tried to call her when I left. Texted her, no response. When I got back to the house was obviously nobody was in there. So I figured they're still up here fooling around. Paul was gonna be getting set up to plant. Our sunflower seeds got sprayed and died, and he was refiguring to plant the sunflower seeds. So I came back up here and I drove up and saw and called.
Hey, Kate Does Crime. How you doing, baby?
Hey, I'm good. I got my new setup in my new room. It's a little cold in here, though.
Oh, okay. Where's the roaches and the lizards? No, I'm joking.
They're all sleeping, but well, the roaches are fine.
She put them to bed to come hang out with us.
Yeah.
What are we watching? The interrogation.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Lizard Queen.
So what I
Yeah,
took
with
from
him. Or go ahead.
his
I'm
part
sorry.
on the body language is the nervous tick like thing with the cough and the clearing the throat.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like what he's saying is kind of bizarre in my mind, in terms of, clearly where he went, right? Alibi, if that's what it was, but like that his son was doing the sunflower seeds and that kind of stuff, I thought was a little bit weird. But he keeps asking he keeps asking at the scene if they're dead, right? And that makes sense if somebody's in trauma. Are they really gone? Are they really gone? Are they really gone? But like you very carefully went and, checked to see very carefully, if they had a pulse, and then you go and you call. Like, I don't know it, but again, you know how I am with trauma. But the nervous, that nervous clearing of the throat, is telling.
And it's nonstop. He's nonstop.
Nonstop.
I don't think he checked them at all, because I think he would at least have some blood on him or some kind of like. He's totally clean. Like his white shirt's even like perfectly white. Looks like he just got fresh new clothes. Yeah.
He did. He changed. He totally changed.
Even if he kneeled down, they said it was like really wet, so he would have like blood on his knee or like mud or something.
The Snapchat could show him in a different outfit.
Yeah, so either he
Well, here I got the pictures Deed sent me. I'm going to put them up on the screen here in a second. We'll watch this and then I'll put them up
So are you saying either he didn't really check them and that's why he doesn't have blood on him, or he either had to
Well,
take
that's
a
what
shower?
they said in court too.
Yeah.
Like they were like, it looked like he had just gotten clothes right out of the dryer.
Yeah.
Like you could even see like the dryer wrinkles in it, like it
looks like out of the hamper to me.
Yeah.
Or like if it was sitting in the dryer for a while and he didn't, like the clothes were in there and he didn't take it out and it gets his little like dryer wrinkles.
Plus it was raining out,
Yeah.
Oh, the Low Country debate. Like, oh God, that was funny. The Heels made a video correcting. I think it was Dietz. Actually, Dietz made a video correcting the actual county at their
What did Betty call it?
And then she corrected herself because it was actually something different. She put in the
Yeah.
chat last night. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. But either way, Betty's wrong.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
A recurring theme with her.
All right. Betty's
All right, Robert.
always wrong.
She didn't even know where she was, and then all of a sudden she was like in front of the kennel. That was like so crazy. She's nuts.
Yeah, she had no idea.
Yeah, it just seems like it's very weird that your son is dead on the floor and you have no blood, nothing on you. You would check him or something like that.
Well, this shirt does show blood. I'm gonna finish playing this and put it up real quick.
Okay.
This shirt?
Had Maggie and Paul been arguing over anything?
No.
What was their relationship like?
Wonderful.
Wonderful. How about yours and Maggie's?
Wonderful. I mean, I'm sure we had little things here and there, but we had a wonderful marriage, wonderful relationship.
And yours and Paul's relationship?
As good as it could be.
How old is Paul?
22.
Okay. You know his date of birth?
I do. April 11th, 96 is his brother's. April 14th, 99 is Paul's.
That next video is the one that's real telling to me.
What's Maggie's full name?
Margaret Brandstetter Murdoch.
And her date of birth, sir?
September 15th, 1968.
Have y'all been having any problems out here? Trespassers, people breaking in?
None that I know of. The only thing what comes to my mind is my son Paul was in a boat wreck a couple years ago, and there's been he was charged with being arrested for being the driver. There's been a lot of negative publicity about that, and there's been a lot of people online just really vile stuff. But when Paul's out and about, I mean, people routinely, I don't think I know the full story, because I don't think they give it to me, but I mean, he's been punched and hit and just attacked a lot. So, but I mean, nothing like this.
Yeah. Any one person in particular or group of people?
I don't know.
That you could think of?
Not that I know, no, sir.
Has he, other than being assaulted, has he received any direct threats related to the boat accident?
Oh, yes. All the time. He gets
recently?
Yes, sir. I mean, he gets them all the time.
Okay.
He gets them all the time.
What kind of,
I'm gonna kick your ass, I've never been privy firsthand,
Is that through social media or?
No, ma'am. It's mostly like if he goes out places is what he goes out like somewhere. He's in college, so if he goes out is what I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I can find out better details from some of his younger friends on that.
Who's his best friend?
His best friend in Colombia is Will Chapman, Will Loving, Bobby Boyle. Bobby Boyle, Will Chapman, and Paul were getting ready to move into a house together. Columbia.
Did you guys notice that? He said that there's a lot of stuff on social media, and she asked that, and he goes, I don't know. So he like contradicted himself there.
Well, the officer asked a leading question, and he kind of took it, and I saw what he did was double down. So at first he says, yeah, they was, punched, right? He's gotten punched. And then the officer says, any threats, anything like that? And then you can see him expound
Yes.
and start, build on that.
Yeah, because honestly, I mean, I have a hard time believing that he got beat up or punched or anything like that over that boat accident.
Well, and you're a lawyer's son, and
Yeah.
shit, you ain't sending the law out on him. Because
I would not punch anyone who had a family with all these lawyers. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
That's the last person I'm punching because I know they're gonna take me to court for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do
So you're basically saying like he got like kind of like the answer, and he just like expanded on it a lot more because it's just.
Well, he's in the moment, right? And he's getting questioned, and you don't expect that part of it. You build your alibi and do all that if he's the one that did it. And I'm not convinced it was him, but I'll get to that. But while you're getting punched, and any threats, anything like that, right? Anything recent, and then you can just see him start to build on it. Then the girl asks in the back seat, social media. And, he kind of feeds into that, a little bit, but I'm not privy to that much, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not privy, really.
Yeah, but I think
it's just more
death of somebody and you never talk.
If he's not privy to it, then how did he know it's been on social media as well? That's what I was like kind of like weirded out about.
Well, here's the thing. Your son, you said you had a really good relationship with him. He's accused of, killing somebody. Not accused. He did. He was under the influence and killed somebody, right? Like, you're not going to be knowing what's going on and the threats and that. It's not, it's not adding up. But the question, if you go back and watch it, any threats, anything like that, it was a low, not much, just some punches and some stuff like that I'm not privy to. Then the threats question is asked. Then he starts giving a little bit more. Then the social media comes up, right?
Yep.
He wants to make it seem like maybe somebody that was involved with the boating accident had something out for Paul, and that's who killed them, right?
Yeah, he even brought that up in the 911 call. Like, he said in the 911 call that he said, I'm going to go get a gun. And then the guy said, well, I don't think that's a good idea. And then he said, well, my son's been getting threats for months.
See,
and then he said,
that's his.
Yeah, he
and
planted
4 days
real early.
There's his reasonable doubt. That's what he's throwing out there, is reasonable doubt.
Also, 4 days before is when the trial, there was negotiations between mediators, and it ended 3 or 4 days before this, and that's when the whole thing was going to go to trial with Paul. So it's interesting that 4 days later, maybe not wanting it to go to trial, or I don't know.
Never saw that.
Well, I say I'm not. I mean, I got to continue, right? And as a juror, we always wait till all the evidence is in to decide guilt or innocence.
Of course,
but here's the thing: is given the wealth and the connections, and then what he did after this with having someone going to shoot him so his son could get the insurance, that even screwed that up. I'm not convinced at this point. Yes, they're dead. Do I think he had something to do with it? Yes. Do I think, he's involved? He had a big pill dealer, right? I mean, to feed his addiction. What the extent of that really was, who knows? But I'm not convinced that he didn't have somebody else do it, which would, you hire a deed done and then you see it and there's brain matter all over the place and, that kind of stuff. It would explain how, that like actually asking for something to be done and seeing it, I'm not articulating it very well, is like two different things. And then,
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
and then after the programmed 911 call, he's more lucid and giving kind of details a little bit more, and also under the shock of seeing it on the scene. And now he's in the car, and outside of the, alibi, so to speak, he's not prepared for these types of questions.
He's way too calm for me though in this. Like, I can't believe
Right.
he was so like well put together and could come up with all the things that he said. I would be a flipping mess.
Well, I mean, like,
I wouldn't even be able to answer questions. I would be like, why are you asking me this shit right now? I can't even, you know what I mean? Like, I can't believe he's so put together.
I mean, to play devil's advocate, I would say you don't know how different people react to. Some people just kind of become robotic. Some people get like grief stricken. So I mean, you can't really. I mean, I'm not defending him as in. I think he did.
So here's my 2 cents on that. As a lawyer, we are trained and behaviorally is like emotions is we restrain them. I mean, you know how many times people say or do crazy stuff and we can't, just lay them out there verbally. I can give you an example that I didn't even know that I did it. And I always get like praise for this. And it's like, well, like, what did you expect me to do? But high conflict situation. And I just sit there and I would, okay. And one of it was I had my siblings, around, and they saw, they had witnessed like the thing happening, and nobody could believe that I didn't lose my shit. Right. Well, because I was the one that was supposed to be the one that was the cool, level-headed one to take care of it. It didn't mean that it didn't impact me, but we're trained to not like react like that. But so like if I'm sitting there, not that I might be like him, I don't know, but on the scene when I, because I'm in the car, right? But when I'm on the scene and I actually saw it, there's no way. And there is a little bit of that shock, whether he was involved or not, that you're going to have. So he's a little bit glossed over here, but that's why it's kind of like when somebody's intoxicated and they say what they let out is often the truth. Little details, little clues.
Drunkenness reveals what soberness conceals.
There you go, girl. But it's the same thing with shocking on our bodies, and B. Tim is right. How we would react, it's really hard to say. But as a lawyer, having the training, and was a trial lawyer, right? You learn to process that kind of stuff. That's what makes us successful.
Yeah. Well, I worked in like healthcare, and anytime there was like an emergency, I always went into like what do you call it? Like adrenaline, like fix the situation mode, and I get very like not emotional and get like get to like the I need to do this, I need to do that.
Laser focus.
But I don't think I could be like that upon finding my husband and my son like brutally murdered. You know what I'm saying? Like that is a whole different level for me, where I feel like I wouldn't even be able to function. Like, even though I would consider myself pretty like unemotional, and I am like, I can be emotional, but when it comes to like things like that, like the way I handle it is like go into like, survival, fix this situation type mode,
Right.
But I don't think I could do that in this situation. But I do get everyone's different, but I feel like he's too clean, too calm. And he also, all right, they haven't said it, but when they did release this information that he lured her there, they released all the other information that was right. So I do believe that he did lure her there. Like when it came out, I think it was like People Magazine put it out there, and they said like a source from law enforcement. And with that saying that she was lured, they said Paul was shot with a shotgun, she was shot with the rifle, and where they were and everything. And they got all that information right. So I'm assuming that she was lured there, but
I heard that.
Yeah,
that
like
she
because
was.
because People magazine is always accurate, right? And that's evidence.
It's the most accurate news out there. Don't you know that?
Right.
Well,
they make their-
just
they
because
make
they
their
got
money
all
off
the other
facts,
stuff right, is I'm going to assume that that was probably right too. Like they got everything else right. They put out a bunch of information besides just that she was lured there, but they got right like what they were shot with, where they were.
That's called
that's
called the narrative of law enforcement. Like that's where the came from. So that's the narrative, not necessarily all factual. Like I get what you're saying about what weapons were used, but that she was lured there, that's a narrative.
Well, they said that there was text where he messaged her and asked her to go visit his dying father. And then she said that she would meet him at the hospital. And then he convinced her to actually come to the house and and drive with him. And then she agreed reluctantly and then messaged her friend and said, Alex is acting really strange. I think he's up to something. And then she went to the house. And that's when Paul was there taking a video inside the kennels of his friend's dog and caught all three of their voices in the camera.
Or in the Snapchat. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like the narrative, but if they do have text where he could have potentially lured her there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the other thing is Maggie saying that he's, being a little weird or off is if he did have a drug addiction, the opioid addiction. She knew, she didn't necessarily know that's what it was, but knew that, that his moods were and his behavior was different at times. And she may not know why, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I was saying that, but you know what? He owed a lot of people a lot of money. And I said, when you fuck with somebody's money or their kids, you got to be careful who you're fucking with. And if he took money from somebody and they had nothing left to lose, anybody could have walked up there and did that,
You're right. You're right.
You never know. He could have.
Now, do you think this is pure speculation, what I'm posing, so just want to preference that. Do you think the lawsuit with the boat accident lawsuit actually facilitated maybe him thinking to do this act, due to the fact that they were looking into his finances at that point?
Well, it's interesting
that's
that
something else.
Well, the thing is the deal. I mean, he's always able to fix everything right by in his mind, or manage everything with the stealing that he was doing, millions of dollars before. But his son being charged with murder is not something that he could get to go away. To put you in a little bit of a different mode. And from all appearances, I don't know enough about the case, and I don't read People magazine, is I don't know if it sounds like, he had a pretty good relationship with his sons. Even if it was just dishing them with everything that they wanted and needed. It seems though like they, hunted and did the guns and that kind of, stuff. But this criminal thing is maybe the first thing that he's encountered in his life that, grandpa or daddy or, somebody else couldn't fix, and dealing with, the possibility that, his son would be convicted and go to prison. That's all kind of weighing in. The insurance and, being the part of, paying out. I don't know why they would get into, but I don't know exactly what's happening in the case, but how that would cost him financially, because it was his boat. The boats are required to be insured. And I'm sure somebody with, property and things like he had an umbrella. If you have insurance, even if you didn't have an umbrella, they can't get any more money than what the insurance coverage provides.
But would they be able to like for instance, if it's an excess of the policy, would they be able to get into his actual properties and all sort of thing?
So my
If you have
understanding,
insurance, the most they can get is what you have in insurance. That's the most they can get. And furthermore, I would think that his property, his real estate and most of, those things, which are the largest assets, those are all in trust. So you can't touch them. So no, but insurance, you're limited to what that insurance coverage is, unless you're majorly underinsured. But I don't see that as being the biggest thing. I did hear that there was some stuff about that those finances would unravel and whatever. But I
yeah,
think
in the documentary, in a documentary I watched, the lady who was in charge of the financial stuff at their law firm, I guess said something along the lines of like, hey, like make sure, they're gonna like look into your they're gonna look into your stuff, so just make sure everything's good. And then I guess she found like an odd check that seemed off to her, so
Yeah, I
she
heard that.
confronted him about it. And on the day that she confronted him about it, he kind of like cut her off and said he had to go, like someone called him or whatever. And that was the day that they were killed. Like she looked into his finances, or she caught something that seemed off to her.
she caught probably a check that, was sloppy, taking money
Yeah,
from the law firm trust account.
Yeah, so they had a structured settlement company that they worked with.
Yeah.
I forget what it was called, but he basically opened a bank account with the same exact name as the structured settlement company. And then he would have clients fill out a check to the name of the structured settlement company. But it was just like, I forget what the name was, but just like a simple name. And he would have them fill it out and then cash it at his bank account that he named that. Like it was the same name, Forge.
Isn't it the Forge?
Yeah. So he would have his clients fill out a check to Forge and then cash it in his own bank account. And then he would anytime. So like with Gloria Satterfield, he had his sons. Her son. He said, "Listen, you're going to sue me, or sue my insurance company."
Yeah.
Well, he made her son hire this lawyer, a friend of his. And then
He got in trouble too, right? That guy?
Yeah, and then sign the estate over to this banker so that they didn't have to deal with the son anymore. And then when they did the settlement and got the money, he had them fill out a check to this was supposed to be a structured settlement company, but it was actually to his own bank account under the same name. And then he took all the money and they never heard from him.
All right,
and
now
he
that
didn't
makes
have
sense.
to.
Yeah. Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they got like $4 million. It was like $4 million he stole from them.
They ended up getting it recently, right? Or
yeah,
last year.
Yeah. They're suing him for it. A lot of people are suing him now. But it was
yeah.
literally on the night.
That's what I'm saying. That's a lot of fucking money. When you start playing with people's money, especially that amount of money, you don't know what they'll do. You know what I mean?
Well,
they will do a lot.
Right. And the people that he, took it from know that the family's, a dynasty and that it was crooked. And that makes sense. So he got one of his attorney buddies to kind of be in on it. Right. Steal from that one. But then once he started stealing from that, he continued. And, Queen, you're right. I just, you add that with the, opioid addiction and the, who you hanging around to get your, your street drugs? You're hanging around CDS people. Not that that's who his group of friends is, but he has connections with them.
Yeah, they're sketch. I mean, shit.
And he wouldn't be the only rich lawyer that does that kind of work that has some kind of drug addiction. It's pretty common, you guys.
Right.
So go ahead, Queen.
What do you think? But I'll turn this. We'll go finish it.
You said Will Chapman and Will Loving.
Will's with an S,
Okay.
Chapman, and Will with an L, Loving.
Okay.
Around here, his best friends are clearly Nolan Tootin and Rogan Gibson.
Nolan Tootin.
Yes, sir.
And what was the other one? I'm sorry.
Rogan Gibson.
Have you talked with any of these guys tonight?
Talked with Nolan, yes, sir.
Is he out here?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I tried to call Rogan, was one of the people he's the boy that I told you lives around the corner.
Okay.
That's very, he's just a good, helpful young man. You mind if I open the door really quickly?
Go right ahead. Do what you need to do. So is there anybody that you can think of that we need to talk to tonight? Is there a name that comes to mind?
I mean, I can't tell you anybody that I'm overly suspicious of off the top of my head.
Okay.
I mean, this is such a stupid thing. I'm even embarrassed to say it, but it just didn't make any sense. I just hired a guy out here, and he wasn't cutting the mustard, but I hadn't told him this yet. Paul's been working with him a lot. He killed the sunflower seeds in our dove field just recently, which is why Paul was here doing this. He told Paul a story the other day about how when he was in high school, he got in a fight with some black guys, and the FBI undercover team observed him fighting those guys and put him on an undercover team with 3 Navy SEALs, and that their job was to kill radical Black Panthers. And they did that from Myrtle Beach to Savannah. Now, I really don't think this guy, is probably the person, but that's just so freaking.
Yeah, that's kind of far-fetched story.
It's weird, but he was off today.
Okay.
He took his daddy to the doctor.
What's his name?
CB Rowe.
ROWE?
Yeah, and I sent him a message to text me earlier today about the sunflowers, and he called me back when I was on the way to my mom's house.
Did you talk to him at that time?
Briefly, I was on the phone with a lawyer friend of mine named Chris Wilson from Bamberg, so I told him I'd call him back tomorrow, see him in the morning.
When you briefly talked to Mr. Rowe, what was his demeanor or attitude? Or
I mean, it seemed normal. I mean, I asked him about the sunflowers, and so, I mean, I'm sure he's a little bit.
Now, the whole radical Black Panther that whole bullshit, I don't know why in the hell he even threw that in there.
That's absolutely insanely crazy.
It was an undescribed black man that did it. I don't know.
I feel like he's given way too many details of things too. Like, I don't know. It almost feels like he's just.
Yep.
I mean,
too
I know
detailed.
Everything is just like so detailed, like he's over detailing. That's
like he already thought it through, I feel like, and thought about what he was going to be questioned. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Possibly, allegedly. Yeah, he seems very calm to me. Like, I know everybody does act differently. People are in shock, but I don't know.
I mean,
it's 2 hours after.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, it's just kind of funny. It's like he's just trying to throw anyone out there. The radical Black Panthers, anything. It's
like the boating accident. He keeps bringing up. What? Yeah. Something gotta work its way out. Dietz was saying that the Mallory Beach was just settled like 3 days ago. And the other one, the Satterfield, the Gloria Satter, was settled like back last May. Oh. So both of those are settled, which is good from the estate, I'm sure. Yeah.
Well, the settlements, not necessarily from the estate, those Satterfield, the clients that were stolen from the law firm could have had insurance as well.
Yeah, the boating one is so complicated because they sued like the liquor stores. They sued like a lot of different.
Yeah,
like,
that's dram shop is what that is. Anyone that like provides the alcohol, and it's the attorney's job is to maximize the amount of money they get from as many pockets as they can.
There's like I couldn't even I was trying to look it up today, and it's so everybody started suing everybody, in that one. and yeah, everybody. And then even Buster was involved, the other son, who I heard is supporting his dad still with Alex. Alec, he has like 2 brothers also that have been coming to trial and supporting him.
Yep, they've been at the trial. I did watch that. I've seen, you can see them there. The family, does support them. But going back to this taped interview, is you can tell that he's starting to become a little bit more nervous again. Right before we stopped with opening the door to be able to spit, and maybe he's got some dry mouth going on with his opioid addiction. But he also again has that nervous clearing the throat. Ups, are we still
Where
running?
does he live?
Oh, there we
I
go.
don't exactly know. Somewhere in in Bronson.
Okay.
I
Do you have his phone number?
do.
You got it with you, closer?
I do. But I do think him and Paul got along pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just really, really weird. All right. CB.
All right, so this one's over. We're gonna pop over to number 3.
Hey, real quick.
Yes.
What was the deal with he's looking up on the phone, right? He's supposed to be looking up that contact, and he didn't look at the contact. He clicked into his screen and did something else first, and did 2 things first before he went to his contacts. Did you see that?
Yes, I did. I didn't know what the hell he was doing. Actually, I was kind of looking to see what he was looking at.
So I thought it was a little strange that he mentioned he was gonna do something with Paul's phone, and then he didn't. And I think it might have something to do with that. So I wonder if he looked in Paul's phone to see if that video was in there, and realized he had already sent it to somebody. Because I thought it was a little strange that he.
I thought that's why he called the little friend.
Yeah.
The good old boy down the road.
Yeah, like
that good-hearted kid.
Why would you call his friend to come over there while Paul's laying on the ground with his head blown off? You know what I mean? Like, I just think that's strange, and it makes me wonder: did he call a friend because Paul had sent him a video, and maybe he was trying to find a way to use his phone so he could delete it?
Dietz says he's getting texts and calls from family/friends. Rutland talks about it in her court testimony.
Yeah, she's the one in the back seat. She testified on Friday.
And she said she couldn't see if from where she was sitting, of course, but could see everything on the screen when she reviewed the footage.
Oh, interesting. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, I agree with calling his son, his son, whose brain is hanging out of him, right, and all over the place. He's calling his son's friend at the scene
who lived down the street to come over.
Well, he probably was checking if the radical Black Panthers were around the neighborhood. Maybe that was what he was doing.
But he did call his family, but why would you call your son's friend to come over who lives down the road? I just thought that was weird. I think he went through Paul's phone and he seen that Paul had sent that message with his voice in it, and then called the guy down the road to see if he would come over, but the guy didn't answer, he said, so he never came over.
Though, on the other hand, in fairness,
these are pics of evidence. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Given age, and my kids do that Snapchat, and I have younger clients, and I don't even know, if I picked up somebody's phone, I wouldn't even know how to get into the Snapchat, and that's what they just sent. So you know what I
Maybe
mean?
that's why he called the good-hearted boy over.
Exactly.
But how would he even know though that it was sent? Is what I'm saying.
Maybe he saw that he was like filming something
Well,
because
he
he was
said
filming the dog.
Yeah, he was
Well, he
filming.
said his son was filming the dog. Wasn't he filming it for his friend? I thought he said he was filming the dog cage for his friend or something.
Yeah, he was filming. He had the dog there, like babysitting it, I guess.
But my question is, how did Alec know that his son was taking video of the dog?
That's what I'm wondering.
time?
Yeah, I know somebody told him, but he wouldn't
Well,
even
he
know.
was there. They were all talking as he was taking the video. Well, they have his voice and Maggie's voice and Paul's voice all talking together while he was taking the video.
Okay,
That's how they know.
Come out. Yeah,
That's how they know he
hasn't
was
come out
there right before they died. Like they know he was at the house.
Exactly.
Like, not long before they died.
Got it. I'm just
Said
saying
that-
that those Snapchats is the way that, you know, kids do the Snapchats and how quick you do it and whatever. It'd be like knowing, you know, that they just sent a text. I mean, they're just so quick and they're always on their phones, is to know that it went to that person. I don't know.
Okay, so these are pictures of, it says evidence day 5. Still from his first sled interview. It says bullets, seatbelt from Alex's SUV that tested presumptive for blood and had GSR DNA swabs. And so they have all this this shit here. I don't know if that's
that's the seatbelt and the SUV that is presumptive for the blood, and GSR is the gunshot residue. And the gunshot residue, I don't give much weight because he shot with a gun that's similar to several guns that they own, and these guys hunt, and the gunshot residue could have got on there anytime.
Doesn't it only last like 6 hours though? Gunshot residue. Like, don't you have to test for it for 6 hours? That's what they were talking about. That you have to test in the first 6 hours because it could disappear.
So then you find out. Here's the devil's advocate. So then you find out that he doesn't have his vehicle the whole time. Now at this point, they're not getting any more information from him, right? I mean, he's not given all these details. But did anyone else have your car that day? Anyone else have access to it? Well, I don't know. You know, my son.
And he grabbed that gun.
Blah blah. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But the bullets that they have there
matched the ones that were found.
They match, but they're also all over the property. And
but they do come from those guns that were on, you know, that matched the other. Like there's like boxes found of them,
right?
And they were sort of specific, but they're not found. Those guns were never found, right?
And it doesn't put the gun in Alex's hand. It just says that those guns that are easily accessible on that property and well known to the family are there, and that's what was used.
But there are other bullets from that same gun, so it's pretty much the gun was there before.
These are the flip-flops and the footprints from out there.
Okay.
Oh yeah, the footprints, they were talking about that. But it was raining and stuff, so
those are his flip-flops.
Here's her flip-flops that she.
Oh, those are Maggie's?
These are hers.
Okay.
Yep. This says Maggie's flip-flops. Officer compared to shoe prints at the crime scene.
Yeah.
They also had like stills here that they have, you know, of like pictures that they took. Still photos, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just sharing shit that I was finding as we were going through this body cam footage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll roll this last one because this is where he started. I think this is number 4, so we're almost done with it anyhow.
Okay.
He got here. He got here pretty early because he and I rode around looking at everything for a good little while, probably 45 minutes to an hour. Maggie had things she did in Charleston, and she had a doctor's appointment in Charleston, and she got back here. It was fairly late.
Was it dark yet when Paul got home?
No, Paul got home early.
Early, okay. So before dinner time? Or
Oh, yes, ma'am.
lunchtime? Or
No, ma'am.
What brother does Paul work for?
John Marvin.
And what does Paul do for him?
Everything.
Just handyman.
Yes, sir.
Finally, right?
Was it unusual for Maggie to feed the dogs this time of night or check on them?
Oh no. I mean, she played with those dogs all the time. And it's especially common for her to, she's been gone for a while, to come and let especially 2 of them out to run.
Okay, so she pretty regularly comes out here in the evenings.
Very regularly.
Okay.
She comes out here a lot.
Do you have any cameras on your property?
I have deer cameras, but none, around up here
Where are they at?
on different deer stands.
Okay, so deep in the woods.
Well, not necessarily deep in the woods. Some of them are in fields and
Okay.
but there's none that are near here.
Okay.
What doctor's appointment? What doctor did Maggie see today?
I forget the guy's name. Maggie's been having trouble with her. She's been having trouble with her stomach and her tooth. I'm not positive. It was sort of a routine visit, and I can't remember. She told me the name of him, and I want to say Gordine
Okay.
is who I think she saw.
So was she back home around supper time? Or 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock?
I don't think she got back quite that early. I think she got back a little bit later than that.
Okay. What did you do today? Were you at the office or?
Nope, I was home. I came home. Paul and I messed around. I was up at the house. I laid down, took a nap on the couch, probably, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes. I got up, I called Maggie, didn't get an answer, and I left to go to my mom's. She had said she might ride with me, but she normally doesn't when I go over there. And I think I texted her. And she's very good about answering the phone, so that was odd, or calling me back. So that was odd, but it wasn't that big a deal.
And what time was that?
What time was what?
That you sent her a text message.
All right. I texted her at 9:08, going to check on M, be right back. And then I texted her at 9:47. That must be when I started to come back. I think I called her before that, but let me make sure. Pretty sure that I called her 9:45. And then I tried Paul.
Now him grunting like that, I just feel like that's really unfucking necessary.
Yeah, right.
He's like, serious. Are you serious? Like, is that real fuck? I mean, I just want to be like, yeah, are you is that really fucking necessary for you to grunt?
I mean, no one really wants to look through their phones to, try to get justice for their dead relatives. That's too much of a hassle. Or, doing
He just needs to spit already. Like he did it once. Like do it a couple more times.
Cough it up, spit it out. Let's move on, you shithead.
Like, yeah, he's not clearing his throat enough or something. I don't know.
Does anyone have a cough drop? Can anyone give us
I know. Mail him one to the past.
Oh, I'm like, God, come on now. This ain't even fucking messing around. I just feel like I just want to pop him in the back of his neck. Here, let me clear your fucking throat for you, okay? Damn.
Didn't they say he did cocaine though? Like, wasn't that on his list of like
I
stuff that he
don't
was
know,
doing?
but if he did, it did some damn damage.
Right.
To his like, something's up with his nasal something. Yeah.
If I was Maggie, I'd be pissed. Don't even come in my room and sleep in here. On. Yes, I'm bitchy like that.
No, I think that was right. I think that might have been riding over there. $10:03.
So you're looking at
I mean, my
Snapchat?
calls are right here.
Yeah.
So, obviously this is when I, at 10:06,
Yes, sir.
Thank you. There you go.
Anybody else want some gum?
Thank God someone had a cough
You don't
drop.
have any water, do you, Danny? That's all right. I don't need it.
If you behind Danny's head is a case of water.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, I got some right here.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Give him some water, quick.
I'm sure we're going to have much more questions.
I'm available at, you let me know.
I'm available
At
Monday.
Let me know. At let me know. At
Well, I'm available on Mondays between 3 and 5, and on Thursdays between 2 and 4. Other than that, you're gonna have to subpoena my ass.
This is his last one, and they just went over this in court. So they said that he was reacting to it, and he was bawling.
I mean,
losing his wife and his kid would make him cry anyhow. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
I mean, he doesn't his composure a little. Like he's kind of, I don't know. At the beginning, he's crying, but then he kind of settles in and just gets to the story and forgets about his.
or something. Has he testified yet on the stand yet?
He's not.
I don't even know.
Testify.
I don't think he is either.
I was about to say, if he is, hopefully his attorney will give him some fucking cough drops, because this.
Yeah, choose some fucking gum, because they're not going to deal with the package all over court.
Well,
he's been crying in court too, like crazy. Like,
well, here's the thing: is if he's got an opioid addiction, I don't know a ton about people that use the drugs, but I'll tell you, with some attorneys that have been tangled up in it, your opioids, he's snorting that, he's done coke, he's got his little cotton mouth going on there, but this is what's happening in court, and people are bitching, which is so funny to me. Like, you're like watching this, and it's YouTube, right?
Oh,
like,
is he
picking at him because
is he doing this in court?
No, he's eating Tic Tacs, and he
and
had
crying.
a baggie of Werther's,
Well,
at least candy that
Werther's
he's
original.
chowing on like a pig, and
he likes Tic Tacs supposedly.
Well, at least it's like not like Mentos, like the commercial,
Yeah.
I don't think.
But physiologically, we know also, though, when you have your adrenaline and you're nervous and whatever, you're going to get some dry mouth when he's sitting there. We know he's not under the influence of anything, and because he's not under the influence of anything, whether he did this or had somebody do it or is just reliving the trauma, crying in court, I think it appears to me to be pretty sincere.
Yeah. Well, in reality, it hits hard too. You know what I mean? That shit. That hits hard.
You let me know.
What's another number in case I can't get you on your cell?
I don't have a house phone.
Okay.
An office number. I can give you my brother's cell phones.
All right. What's Randy's?
How about your cell
Randy's is
phone?
803-943-8881.
And John's?
John Marvin's is 843-321-5508.
And you said your dad's in the hospital?
Yes, sir.
Which hospital? Charleston or
Savannah, Candler, St. Joseph's.
Is he doing okay, or what's?
He's having a really, really hard time. He's got a lot going on. You know, he's doing okay, given everything, but he's got a lot going on.
About Manly, where are they?
Somerville.
When he asked about a cell phone to get a hold of him, he's got a cell phone in his fucking lap. Why does he tell him to call his brother?
He already gave his cell phone number. He's asking for another one.
Oh.
Okay.
He wanted like another number to get a hold of you, and most of us don't have house phones anymore.
Right.
Hey, the other thing is I saw just a YouTuber that you put up there as
Yeah,
that she thinks he was set up. You know, I never even let that enter my mind, but that could be too, as the, you know, you can't hit this big powerful guy, but you could set him up for a murder charge. But
People don't like him for sure. Before all this
That could be a
happened.
way to pay him back for losing their millions.
Well,
but you would think he would have an
Exactly.
idea of like
I
who
mean-
would be setting him up though. Like, oh, this guy doesn't like me. He probably set me up. You know,
His son killed a little girl, you know, a 16-year-old girl. She has family people that love her, you know what I mean? And you never know. Dad or uncle or brother, you know, one of them could have.
Yeah, or it could have been the
Well,
radical
he brought
Black
that up, by the
Panthers.
way.
The radical
Yeah.
Black Panthers set him up.
Right.
You know, it could have been them.
You know.
Have you been in touch with him tonight?
Contacted, yes. I had my brother call Bart, the wife of his sister, and the husband of Maggie's sister, so that they could go and tell Maggie's parents. I felt like they needed to hear it in person, and they are going there and calling me. So they must not be there yet.
Maggie's parents in Somerville?
Yes. And her mom just had a knee replacement surgery, and her dad really has trouble getting around nowadays.
Do you have any other children?
I do. I have a 24-year-old.
That's right, you said. What's his name?
Buster. Well, Richard Alexander Jr.
Okay. He goes by Buster.
He goes by Buster.
Is he here tonight?
He's on his way.
Okay. Laura, you got anything?
This one's hard, but when you first saw Paul, you said you tried to flip him over. Was he laying on his back or on his stomach?
Just like he
Just like he is. So you weren't able to move him. Okay.
No, ma'am.
Okay. And did he help Maggie a lot out here with the animals?
He helped everybody with everything.
Okay, so it was kind of routine for him to be out here as well in the evening?
This place is his absolute passion.
Okay.
I tried to turn him, and then I checked him, and I think I already knew, but I checked him.
And when you first pulled into the property, did you come from this direction where all our police cars are, or which way did you come in?
I went to the house.
Okay.
And then I came from the house
This way.
straight here. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I mean, where my vehicle was parked is probably
is where it was. Okay.
Well, no, maybe not exactly, but it was pretty close because I came back the same route.
That's right, because you went back to get your shotgun.
When I came back.
All right. I can't think of anything else right now, but we'll certainly be in touch.
Thank y'all for everything y'all are doing.
Yes, sir. So, just to kind of let you know what's going to go on, we're going to be out here for quite some time. The coroner will take custody of Paul and Maggie.
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What? No, we're finished. Let me come out. Well, I'll be here when he gets here. No, don't let him come up here. Okay. Yeah. I think we're about done. All right. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Buster, in here. Okay.
Yes, sir. I dropped my card.
We'll get you one.
Sorry.
I'll get you one.
There you go.
Thank you.
So the coroner will come over and talk to you. They'll do the autopsy and everything, and then go from there.
Thank you.
But we'll come to you before we leave.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you, Ms. Rutland.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Here, you want this water?
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Yep.
So that's the interview there.
So I see a couple of different theories going around, and I tell you, I love your channel and chat because now here's the thing that we're talking about gunshot residue and that kind of stuff, and that this whole thing was staged. Why would he go back up to his house to get a gun for self-protection? I can't really explain that unless he really did have fear.
Maybe it was change his clothes.
To maybe prove, because he maybe thought there would be gunshot residue on him, and if he grabbed another gun, maybe that would.
Wait, though, am I confused? I thought that he went and called 911. They were sending somebody there, and then that's when he went back up to the house and got the gun and came back.
That's what he
called
said.
911.
That's what he said, but he really left probably got rid of the guns, and came back. You know what I mean?
Well, all right. So he was there at 8:44 p.m. and they were killed right after that. And he supposedly went to his mom's, and then was back by 10:07 when he made the call.
Yep.
Well,
so and then they found a raincoat at his mom's that someone, I guess, saw him carrying in the house.
Tarp.
Was a tarp that had gunshot residue on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I still think that that's going. To me, there's reasonable doubt in that evidence as being connected to that. I guess the bigger question too that I have is, so Rutland, who's in the back seat, prepared the search warrant, right, to be executed right away, and they refer it out to the other team because of the conflict with the family. You have a search warrant, and they didn't go search the house or didn't go do anything in the house for any kind of evidence. I don't know. again, I guess I haven't had the benefit of the documentary. Now I'm like chomping at the bit wanting to watch it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to listen to the evidence come in.
Yeah.
And kind of go from that and not have that skewed. I mean, I remember hearing
That's
some
a
of
good
the
way to do it.
headlines and stuff when this happened, but I don't know any of the factual stuff. And all I have watched is the evidence, and I'm not going to skew my mind with it because I really am interested. There's a lot of things that don't necessarily add up, but I do know when, I think it was Rutland, the cross exam that I saw, well, the direct and the cross was, that Alec didn't have any, blood on him, nowhere, not on his hands, not on his this, not on his that. Well, and then the defense attorney goes in double dog on it, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, well, how could you go? Then we see the the interview, that we just watched. And I'm like, how could you have tried to turn your son over? You would have had to kneel down or crouch down. And at a minimum, you would have had it all over your hands, blood. So what happened to the blood that was on you?
Yeah,
And I saw it on the t-shirt, right? I saw it on the t-shirt, and I'm still like looking at, why wouldn't it be on the shoes? And you got it on your, I don't know. It's just weird to me.
There's a lot still to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Stuff we know about that hasn't yet come out in court and be like elaborated on. Do you know what I mean? So
right.
I'm not sure if they checked the house or not. I know they asked the one person, like, well, didn't you go check the drains and stuff? And she said, well, I'm not privy to like what SLED did or whatever. Like I don't know if SLED actually did search the house or not. She just said she doesn't know because that was like SLED's thing. But I don't know if they actually did go in, but I hope they did because that would
so
be
we need to get to chapter 3, right? Day 3, 4, or 5, right?
Yeah, it's only been since like Wednesday they only started. So it's only been 3,
Yeah,
3
interesting.
days. Yeah.
But it does sound like a possibility that they didn't. But if they went all the way to his mom's house, I would hope that they would have checked Moselle too.
Yeah, right. I'm sure like they checked his car because certain cars you could see like exactly where they, depends on what kind of car he had. There could be some kind of, where he went and what time.
The only thing like I keep going back to is like the amount that he went to have the fake, and maybe that's where I first heard of it, was when he had somebody hired to shoot him on the side of the road. And
I know.
And it failed,
He
right?
stabbed his own tires with a knife.
Right.
And then he said he was changing a tire on the side of the road and someone drove by and shot him. But really, he had set it up. And the guy, it was like a botched suicide attempt.
And it was his drug dealer, right?
We're unaliving. Sorry, Queen.
Right. And it was, but so that his son could get all the money. Like,
$10 million life insurance. Because he wanted to maybe just like, I don't know, like Vitin was talking about this, like the family annihilator theory, that he like things were getting so deep for him that he was trying to like
closing in on him.
And so, but Buster, I don't know. And so maybe he wanted to like keep the name going because it's been going for like 100 years, to keep the family name up. And maybe that his hope was, okay, I'll keep Buster alive because maybe he could,
I don't
he
know.
looks just like him. Buster looks so much like.
That's a good point. CM said, I don't think it was truly a botched unaliving because a big drug addict could just OD if they really wanted to. You know what I mean?
Do you think he did it for like look sympathetic?
No, if you OD, if you don't OD, you don't get life insurance. Suicide,
like the whole family was trying to be killed to kind of help with his defense, like, they tried to kill me too, they killed my wife and my kid and they're trying to kill me too, right? Couldn't it be something like that?
Well,
like
but I mean, if the life insurance was in there and everything, the reason he would have someone kill him versus the other way around, pill overdoses, because you don't get it if most insurance companies won't pay if it's suicide.
If it's a it has to be an accident or something, right?
So, and then because it was failed is how he had to make up the story about his flat tire on driving a fancy ass car that the tires don't go flat. So
run flats.
So that's how he got busted on that.
What a mess this guy is.
Yeah, it's just.
But that is all of it's consistent with someone who has some kind of substance use going on. I mean, I say that as a lawyer. I mean, we just know how to kind of look at it like this ain't adding up, and like who would do that, right? Is, you know, he definitely had that going on, but I don't know. I mean, I'm going to be interested to continue to hear it. I just don't. I think it's the one thing I get from the interview and watching him, okay, is that there seems to be a very strong tie and bond of love, like true love with him for his sons. Maybe, you know, a little bit of marital discord or whatever, but like to actually carry out the killings the way that they were done
Well, I
I'd be
mean,
easier for me to believe that he had someone do it, just like he had someone try to kill him.
yeah, I mean, I just thought when I said the family annihilator thing, it's like I'm thinking like, you know how most family annihilators are like, they think the person they can't survive without them, so they think it's more like a mercy to put out everyone else and kill them off. You know what I mean? So maybe that love can transform into something like that.
I don't
CM
know.
has a good point. What if he was trying to throw people off and make them think that somebody was after him? And then when his story started unfolding and it didn't make sense, that's when he came up with that.
Yeah.
Like, what if he was trying to make him think that somebody was trying to kill him now? Like
Yeah,
somebody killed
totally.
his family and then killed him, or just trying to kill him. Like, oh, someone's after me. You know, they got my
That's what I
family.
thought. That's what I thought
Absolutely.
originally.
And then when it didn't make sense and it was his own knife they found that stabbed the run flats, and it was like,
changed
oh,
it up.
well.
Yeah.
But I think that's because that's also the way that it got kind of the national attention, so to speak, again, is because it was somebody tried to kill Alec and, you know, his other two family members were murdered, right? Then is when it unraveled about the type of vehicle he had, his own knife, and that he had somebody, you know, his drug dealer he set up to, you know, do the shoot.
I always thought maybe Paul was collateral damage and he was trying to off Maggie because like maybe she was getting a divorce, but they said Paul was the first to be killed. So, and he like, I don't know, it's confusing. And then there was 2 guns used too. So
Yeah. Like, did you see that somebody in chat put like maybe he was just gonna kill Paul and Maggie came and then used Paul's gun to kill Maggie?
Yeah, and that accessibility of the guns on that property, it just seems like, you know, I mean, I know wealthy people like this that, you know, have $1 million, and I'm not exaggerating, $1 million in traps and guns and like old guns and like all that, and none of them are locked up. They're just like sitting in the house that anyone could go. I mean, yeah, there's cameras, but the guy, you know, the family that has them, they never lock their doors. So I mean, I kind of see that kind of piece of it. It's just there's still just so many pieces that don't add up. I'm going to be interested. That's the one. I mean, I just finished watching, kind of keeping up with that guy that's getting retried, that Mark Jensen, but passing over all the scientific type of, you know, evidence that went on and on and on forever. But and Murdoch is going to be the one that I'm going to watch now. Because I don't know, I'm just kind of like, what's going on here?
yeah, and they supposedly reopened the case of Stephen Smith, who, like, I believe, it's, I don't know if it's been confirmed, but I remember it, like, it's saying somewhere that they found something at the crime scene that could possibly connected to Stephen Smith's case. Maybe like a call
coming up.
Kate,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Kate, Pete can ask, can anyone recommend, I think you probably would know this answer, can anyone recommend a good unbiased documentary to watch on this case?
The one I watched was probably super biased because it was from Mandy from the Fit News thing. She was the one who like dug into him, like in all this.
There's a Dateline, a 2020, and a 48 Hours also.
Yeah, what Deej just said, that's the one that I would recommend, the Murdoch Murders podcast. It's so good. They've been covering it since like the way beginning.
That's
like,
the Mandy Matney one, right?
I think so.
She's from the area, and it's really good, but I would like,
It's more slanted, you feel like, than
I feel like it's probably more slanted because she's
they are a little slanted. Yeah.
She's like heavily looked into the Murdochs and all his financial. She actually was the one who like unearthed a lot of it and got it in the public attention. But I believe she really thinks that like he's guilty. But it's really good. Her podcast is excellent. Like she shows all her receipts. You know what I mean?
She goes into like the Mallory Beach. She goes into like you know, she shows everything that's happened with everybody else. And that's why there's so much to this case, because it's all this other stuff that's connected as well, you know.
But
Ellie,
see,
you
though,
went into a can.
It kind of lines up with what I said was like, this is kind of the first time that, you know, Alec hasn't been able to kind of take care of an issue encountered by, you know, himself or his family with the charging of his son, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the walls are caving.
Wait, I'm sorry, I missed what you say that again.
So Alec is dealing with, you know, he's obviously got the deal where the money, you know, he's had these encounters. It seems like the Kennedys on a lower version, but
oh yeah,
he has the deal with is it Smith? He has all these things that happen in his life, and then his son gets charged with, you know, death of somebody in a boat. The money part, I don't think the money part unraveling for him related to that boating accident isn't as large as in my mind as the fact that his son is probably going, you know, to jail. They're not, how do you find somebody not guilty of killing someone in a boating accident when the facts are like, it's black and white, right?
Yeah.
So, and you know, those are cases, and you know, I've talked about this on Queen's channel before, is, you know, when there's a death in a case and criminal charges, it's the worst thing I've ever seen in 33 years was a 15-year-old boy going off to prison because he killed somebody with a car accident. He wasn't even drinking. He was just driving 120 miles an hour, hit a bump, and, you know, was showing off and hit a tree and killed somebody and maimed, you know, the other three. He went to prison. So the same thing was going to happen with Alec's son. He couldn't save him. He couldn't save it. No amount of money could buy it off. Nothing, you know.
It was 3 days after, yeah. But
it is really sus though that the day he gets confronted with that like money situation is the day where it all, you know, unfolds, like where his job, because it was their family company. Well, they had other people in it too. Like it was other
it's lawyers. It's not the family company. It holds the family name. The other lawyers are all shareholders, so it's stealing from the law firm. But I don't put too much weight in that because, again, he's gotten away with stealing from the law firm for too long, and it would take money to unravel. He could go back to his partners and figure out how to make it right. It wasn't to the criminal stage for him yet for that to happen.
Mm-hmm. But then it all piled on, like when things started to unfold with some of these laws.
Yeah, you know, maybe, you know, the addiction, whatever the addiction, the substances he was using, you know, but that all of it together, right, is the recipe for disaster. Yeah, but I don't know. I like I said, I'm going to be interested to continue to watch this one play out.
Yeah, it's really interesting. For sure.
It almost does sound like in the 911 call, you have to listen to it with headphones on. But there's a moment where it almost sounds like he said, like something along the lines of like, Paul, why did you have to get involved? Or Paul, it's very quiet and very quick, but it sounds like he's like whispering it in the background. So I always thought maybe Paul was collateral, but now my whole thought process has changed because Paul was the first to be killed. So now I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know now.
I know, I know. Yeah.
Like I thought maybe they came for like Maggie, you know, if she was seeking a divorce, and then Paul kind of like walked out and saw it going down, and then
he was,
you know, like grabbed a gun and then they took it from him and killed him. But if he was first to be killed, now it's just kind of turned everything over. Let me change everything.
I guess the key is going to be, I mean, watching it develop. And my memory is, remind me what the composition of the jury is. And I haven't looked that up yet, which is on my.
Yeah, I looked it up. I have it right here. It's like 8 women,
right,
2 which are black, 4 men, and then 10 white altogether. And then
right,
the alternates are what? Did you understand that? 8
yeah,
women,
but you
4 men.
won't know the what I got the composition that way, but I don't have it. You
And
got
then
to
the
dig in a different
alternates
way. Is
are
what
also,
they are. Like, is one somebody who is, has a master's in social work? Is somebody like what the backgrounds are that the jurors
there's a
bring?
couple, like, I saw that there was a couple of like there's somebody that like works for like, I mean, there's a couple of like just that have conflicts, but they let them in. Like there was one juror that said that they already formed an opinion on if he was guilty or innocent, but would be able to put that aside to come up with a verdict on the evidence. I thought that was really interesting. They let that person, that was like juror number 4. One of the alternates like knows one of the witnesses that is going to be called. They let that person in. And then somebody worked for like a Chevrolet and sold a truck to somebody involved. So
Yeah,
there's
I
like
don't.
some like weird like conflict of interest. I just read it like in an article.
Yeah, I don't see that as any of that as being
No, yeah.
dispositive. That whole I have an opinion and I can put it aside that's like people understanding, and that happens all the
Understanding the
time
law.
when we do jury picks, is on big cases that they know a lot about it and they might have an opinion, but then the judge is the one that'll step in. Can you put that aside, and can you listen to all the evidence and not make any conclusion, until you've heard all the evidence? And depending on the personality of the person, some people could, do that. I know I could. In most cases, I mean, I think if it was a sex crime on a child or something like that, obviously it'd be a little bit more difficult in what I bring to the table, but I'd get booted anyways. But I think that a lot of people can do it when they're actually put on the spot. So, and I don't hear any conflict.
Yeah.
I'm looking at education levels of like the ability to do the logic and reasoning and deep thinking.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, it would be hard to get him a fair trial, though. I was in a Murdoch group and they hate him there. Like, it
On,
was
like,
so many. It was a
Facebook or
bunch of
something.
local. Yeah, it was all locals, and they all hate the Murdochs because after the Mallory Beach thing,
Yeah.
it was like, oh, well, they get out of everything. They never get in trouble. They have the good old boys system, and they hate them.
Yeah.
Because
'Cause
we were
they're
in there
known
like
there.
defending them, like, oh, well, maybe, this isn't the case. Like, it's too early. And they were like, no, it's definitely him. They're terrible people. I mean, they like hated them. And they were like, and all they kept saying is like, you just don't get it unless you're from around here. Like, you don't get it.
Because they've been around there so long. It's like a
Mhm.
name that and like they're like personal injury lawyers, right? So there's like always a person that's like on the winning side and the losing side of those cases. I'm sure there's gotten
Yeah.
maybe.
Well, even the courthouse that, had the grandfather, the
Yeah, they take
grandfather
it down.
picture taken
Yeah,
off the
picture.
wall,
Yeah, they're known. They're like, and yep.
But people like to, and there's a psychological name for it, but they like to see successful people, fall.
Go
Crash
down.
and
Yeah.
burn.
Yeah.
They like to see, there's, something to getting some kind of gratification of seeing successful people or people that they may be jealous of, fail. And,
Yep.
this is a classic case of it. Whether he did it or not, he's lost everything and he'll never have it back.
Is that why you don't like Betty? Is because she's so successful and she's the greatest news media out there?
You know what? If there was an honest bone in her, I mean, in my whole career, and we were laughing about it. I was talking to my colleagues about this like 6 or 7 months ago. None of us know of anyone that's been arrested that like 36 times or whatever, like for real. She's just, oh no, can't stand her. And the fact that there's hardworking people that really try to put out content, and you have her that's just full of shit, BSing all the time.
Well, it's the fact that she doesn't really, she thinks she knows everything. That's the problem. You don't learn, you know. Not everyone knows everything. You just have like.
I haven't found very many narcissists that I do like, you know. Sometimes I can tolerate a narcissist, but, you know, in her case, it's a little over the top.
Yeah.
But anyways, hey, listen, I'm going to jump off. I've got a full day tomorrow. It was nice chatting with y'all.
Thanks for
Queen.
all your
one more
great
time.
knowledge.
I
You're
just want to say
welcome. Love
thank you
you
so
all.
much for thank you so much for imparting your wisdom upon us all again. I mean, that's absolutely wonderful that you took an hour out of your time to hang out with us. Thank you so much.
And make sure to send the bill to Voices for your advice.
Your
on this
hourly
case.
rate, your discounted hourly.
Hey, what are
makes
you talking
great.
about? I'm a poor broco that lives in my grandma's basement and ain't got no money. So go ahead and send the bill to grandma, I guess.
B. Tim will take it this time.
No, I'm a tomato. I don't have any money. I'm done. I'm done for. Anyway, went through it.
Could I pay you in shekels?
No. No, Boston, I did not tell you such things. Prove it. Did not tell you that in our secret conversations. But anyway, is there anything else to talk about this particular case, or anyone else want to bring up something, or you want to jump to like you guys want to talk about the Tyree Nichols situation?
Whatever.
Or Queen? What do you want? What you guys want? You
Hello.
got anything else?
Bueller? I don't know.
Bueller?
What do you think?
Bueller?
Bueller.
Chat, what do you think?
I don't know. I think I'm going to hop down because there's snow and it's stupid cold here. And I think I just want to go curl up in my bed.
Yeah, it's a sad situation.
It is. It is. I was gonna start the other situation, the Lindsay Clancy, but I think it's a little too. I think that might be a little too harsh for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot, honestly. You did the out of 4.
Yeah,
you
we
covered Alex Murdoch, and it's like I think you were a little bit too ambitious when you're like, okay, we're gonna do Lindsay Clancy.
Oh yeah, because I put all 4 of them on there, but I was like, wow, we kind of, we got kind of deep into this. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Maybe we can finish, tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I think that would probably be best.
We've been doing on your channel. You've been covering the Alec Murdoch case. You covering it on yours?
Me?
Yeah, Kate, are you?
Oh, yeah. I did like a whole like PowerPoint presentation for the case because it's so confusing. I was like, what's the best way I can
I'm gonna go watch it.
The whiteboard.
Oh my God, yes. Put it. Can you link it in the chat so that way people can go watch it? So that you know what I mean. We'll talk about it again tomorrow. What were you saying, B. Tim? I didn't mean to be rude. I'm sorry.
No, you're not rude at all. I was just joking. I says you got the blackboard, like the whiteboard in the background. You got like
you need that
strings.
for this. Oh my God,
That's
I
what
was
we
like,
need.
oh my God, I was looking at this timeline and it's so confusing.
Yeah.
It gets really crazy with all the different lawsuits and how different people join them, and there's different.
I don't know. I don't know how this guy got away with it for so long, stealing everyone's money. Like,
I know, right?
Because it's the good old boy system.
Yup.
Still, there's very few checks
like the
and
good old boys
balances.
club.
If he stole $3 million from me, he would,
He would have.
I wouldn't
tomato
say it on
coming at
YouTube what I would be doing.
Volcanoes and leaves for him.
All I could think was maybe he didn't kill his family. Maybe somebody really did. Because listen, like you said, I won't be saying on YouTube what I would do. There's a lot of people who would, you fuck with their money, their kids, their lifestyle.
People
their
did
job.
not like him. There's people that didn't like him, but I still think he probably did it. But there's definitely people that didn't like him that could have done it. But in this case, like, how would they have known that they were at the kennel? Like that him and Maggie, like if it was somebody else completely like random that nobody, like how would they know that they were even at the kennel to go to the kennel, at that time? You know what I mean?
And that's even more of a reason why I'd probably be like, oh, I can't get
Yeah,
you
because
You got my money? Well, I'm going to hire a few people to deal with you.
Well, yeah. You just, I mean, you never know. It could be, but.
Y'all, we got a special visitor.
Oh, shit.
7-pounder.
Oh.
What's up, 7-pounder?
Hey, how y'all doing tonight?
Looking sharp, Jack.
Jacked up or just...
No, I said you're looking sharp. Look like you got a haircut.
No, ma'am. I was gonna shave it off tonight. I look like a fucking hippie.
Oh, okay. I thought you got. I'm sorry. I thought you got your hair done.
No. This is just my big ass forehead here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that.
Let me get closer. There we go.
Kate, what are you doing drinking Red Bull? What are you doing?
Yeah, Kate, what are you up to?
I started drinking this like hours ago, and it's just kind of like.
No more of that. You gotta be.
Do you have any lizards anywhere to show us?
No, they're sleeping.
Oh,
right
they're
now.
all sleeping. Oh, yeah, it's
Hey,
a good
what's
time.
The lights go off, like.
No,
yeah, I got a little
dragons
set
are
up.
lizards. How many bearded dragons do you have?
cold in here.
Microphone.
Regular lizards or bearded dragons or what?
I have 8 bearded dragons.
There you go.
2 Asian water monitors, 3 ball pythons, a turtle, 4 fish.
Damn,
And a leopard gecko. And I breed roaches. I do always have a Red Bull, though. I'm not going to lie. I always have one. They don't do
I
anything.
always have a beer in my hand, so there you go.
My roaches are awake, but
I have a fish tank that is being overbred with orange platies, and I have a couple of angelfish and two neon fish that survived.
Oh no!
well,
How
I got
old
my turtle a couple goldfish to eat, and instead of eating them, he made friends with them, and now they're like
That's
cute.
crazy.
Oh, they're like
Swimming
hanging
around the
out.
tank with them.
That's cute. It's like a
Sometimes-
Disney story.
Sometimes
Yeah, they're
on
all
accident-
BFFs now.
Sometimes on accident when I'm fishing, sometimes a turtle will grab my plastic bait, and I'm like, "What the hell? You got this huge ass hook in your face?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And here comes the grippers, and
I
And
think
then you gotta take the bait out
no,
of.
I don't touch the turtle at all. I grab the hook with the grippers, and
I think Heels is saying this is triggering me. The roach. The roach.
Yeah,
on screen is
I know.
definitely
Get rid of
triggering
that roach.
no, those things will live long after we're dead. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think what's going to happen is crows will evolve and take over, so there'll be crow people. So that's what
They're
I
really
think.
smart, right? They're super duper smart crows.
I think they're as smart as an 8-year-old child.
Oh my God.
They actually set up
Bruce
traps.
Lee's descendants.
Yeah, don't they put
Bruce
stuff in the middle of the
descendants
road
of
to
the
kill
crow.
others?
Bruce Lee's descendants of the crow will take
yeah.
over the world, and we'll all become crows, but not
Exactly.
ravens. Not ravens. Will the ravens take over the crows? Because ravens are.
Well, maybe that would be the Great War. The
We're
Raven.
talking
I don't know.
about,
But listen, did you guys
bird.
know that Justice for All has an Amazon wish list of nothing but makeup?
Wow.
No way.
Is it what?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not even kidding. He looks exactly like my great grandma Alice. And one day I am going to find a picture and show
When was
y'all.
Boston back
Do a
up
side
here?
by
What
side.
the hell was he doing? What the fuck? What's all this from? Is this before or now?
I think
Just
he was
like my
looking
grandma.
for you before.
Boston, what the fuck he done?
He likes to blow it up.
Was he on fucking up here on panel doing this, writing all this?
No, I part of it. I think he was looking for you then after, but you weren't around.
Well, fuck.
I know he likes to chat back then.
I know. I came back. He always uses the back chat. I thought that was old shit.
Yeah, I don't usually like the bad talk in the back chat because
I never look at the back chat.
because
I never look at it. It's not my business.
because that
Once
shit's
you
public.
ignore me, I
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I don't ever look in the back chat either. I never look at it. I never, you know what I mean? I don't.
How's in the back chat? What the hell's a back chat? It's like that tattoo on your butt.
No, it's
Private
actually
Yeah.
it's actually where it's illegal.
It's a private chat.
It's where
like on the side here for the people up here on the panel. It's for
share like links and stuff. It's good
Yeah,
for
when
stuff like that.
When we're talking about Kate, we're like in the back chat. We're talking about her roaches and her unhealthy habit of Red Bull.
Otherwise, no. When people come up, I don't know why they use. Like I don't ever pay attention to it. So if somebody comes up and uses it, I usually don't see it.
Well, I like hanging out here once a week, every Saturday night, and you say you have special guests. It's me. Woo!
Oh, nice. How many Budweisers are you in?
Let's see. Let me turn this around this way. Y'all see that?
Oh, man.
3 sheets to the wind, my dude. I knew it.
I'm a Navy person. I'm an ex-Navy person, so I'm always 3 sheets. Well, and I got, this and, this and,
Uh-oh, your girlfriend's over here.
Who's my girlfriend? I've yet to meet her.
Ellie?
Oh, you don't want to. Her name.
I've yet to meet her. Are we in love yet?
Her name's Miss Portland. I don't know if you want to meet her or not.
Portland. Sounds like a damn.
I hate,
a little spicy.
hate
Oh.
all of you. I hate all of you. I hate all of you. Have a fuck day. I hate.
Oh. She just have a fuck day.
Unbelievable.
I had a great day. Well, more power to you. If you like your hate.
It is called criminal activity and is illegal. It is called criminal activity and is illegal. It is called.
It's illegal.
Oh, sharing that.
I hope karma comes back and bites you in the ass. Have a nice.
She's being real mean.
Video. I watched every disgusting frame of that film.
Which
one?
Twice.
Which one?
What
the
film?
Tasmanian girl with the trout.
What?
I don't
You've
want
never
to
seen
know.
that viral video that's all over the banter pages?
No, but I don't.
No.
I don't want to see it now. They just described as disgusting.
Apparently, she's a woman who gets a lot of likes and stuff for her fishing prowess.
Right.
But apparently her and her husband did some things with a trout.
Oh no!
The blanket, and he filmed it.
Oh.
And that's
you.
Well, on that note, it's Queen. It's getting late,
Yeah.
and I gotta skedaddle. I'm skedaddling.
Skedaddle.
I'm skedaddling.
You got the panels in shambles.
I gotta
if it was 1920.
Halfway down his face. He looks like he's like creeping out
The
of
panels in shambles. We got to go.
I'm actually blushing describing it. You just caught me.
Yeah,
blushing.
well, how about we don't make the audience blush either?
All right.
I
Like the
was,
fishing community, what goes on in the fishing community, that's their
That's
what
stays
happens.
over there. You're gonna
Yeah,
have
but
to
you-
Rule of
It went viral
it
all
stays
over.
in the fishing community.
yeah. We can't go into the fishing community drama. We're gonna be called like haters there too. We got too.
Yeah,
many-
like tragedy fish or something.
I don't know what roach. Maybe we'll be called
the
shrimp.
sucker. We'll be Placostomuses.
Yeah, we'll be shrimp there. And so, like they call us
Shrimp.
like lobsters.
Tragedy shrimps.
Tragedy shrimps or tragedy lobsters there.
Yeah.
Disgusting
Yeah, like the
about
ones that
them.
eat the other yuck.
Queen lobster. What's up with that?
Well, lobsters were considered like the roaches of the sea, so they usually call
Yes,
us roaches.
and they
here,
were
so-
used as food for convicts back in the day.
Yeah, Boston,
Yeah,
1800s.
that's where I live.
Yeah, they used to eat. Well, they used a lot of things. They used to do a lot of things in prisons. They were very open. Like they had their own prostitutes in prisons. They had their own. They even had like a lot of a person become mayor when he was still in prison.
I don't know if there's a fishing community, Deets. I was joking. Is there a fishing community?
I'm sure there is a
I'm
fishing.
sure
There
there
are
is.
many
Okay.
fishing communities. There's one near where I live.
There's
And-
fishing.
On YouTube, we were talking about.
Yeah, my son watches a bunch of
Oh,
fishing
really?
stuff on
That's
YouTube.
cool.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
obsessed with fishing all summer. He'll have me out every single day fishing.
Yeah, I mean, this is
the outdoor channel is all about that on Saturdays and Sundays, all about fishing.
Yeah, there's a
He
plant
watches
community.
this guy Catch 'em All, or like Zach Catch 'em All or something, or I forget his name.
Zona's big fishing show. There's somebody
7-pounder caught a 7-pound fish.
Big fish.
7-pound catfish.
My name is 7-pounder because I caught a 7-pound, 15-ounce largemouth bass, and my buddy looked at me and said, "Hey, still a 7-pounder. If I catch an 8-pounder, I'll change my name."
Oh, nice. So wait, if it's like
I
7,
weighed that thing 3 times. 7 pounds, 15 ounces. My friend deadpanned me. He said, "Still a fucking 7-pounder, huh?" I said, I went with it. So, it's a self-deprecating humor kind of thing, Anybody else want to chime in?
I made Valentine's ornament today.
They're very good.
There you go. Craft time.
Can you make a fish?
I have a cricket that I've never pulled out of my, I've never tried. I have a nice one.
Hey, look, you could be making these right now.
Yeah, I have the latest one. I think my husband's mom gave it to me because she had a second one.
Wow.
I think Kate, you need to fish a complimentary roach to all your people that you like.
Paper roach.
Oh, this 7-pounder. You ever heard of this dude right here? I need you to listen. I need you to listen to this 7-pounder.
This is so funny, Queen.
Right. I'm listening.
I mean, would you take a fucking gander? Take a little look-see here, would you? It's a fucking 1997 vintage Mr. Mark Calloway American Badass Undertaker special. I tell you what, I'm getting ready to bury your mom's head in my fucking pillows and put that pussy in a coffin, an absolute fucking coffin. They don't stand a fucking chance. And if your daddy comes in here running that goddamn mouth, I'm gonna stomp a fucking mud hole in his ass. They don't stand a chance. Gonna pick your mom's lady parts up and put them in the tombstone through the fucking table, hell in the cell, more like goddamn pleasure in the bedroom. Can't fucking wait, I'm telling you. It's got a little hole in the sleeve. That's unfortunate, but we're cutting them out anyways. I can't fucking wait. Listen here, boys. Spring is right around the old corner. The first thaw of spring, the dead man rises again. He's gonna put your mom's lady parts in absolute fucking shambles.
Is that your son, 7-pounder?
Kate left.
Kate has skedaddled.
She's like, I'm out of here.
A snake or a roach. Oh, fuck what she got.
Oh, yay. Oh, what is that?
She's got cool shit. She's got cool stuff. Look at that.
She's professional. She's professional and all that.
Look, here, I'm gonna.
Oh, you're muted.
Wow. Look, check this
unmute.
out.
Unmute. Kate, unmute.
It's an Asian water monitor. He's shedding a little bit, but he's like double the size.
Aww.
When I first had him.
Nice.
For a moment
actually
there,
cute.
I thought I saw Jonathan Lee Richards investigate.
Pretty much.
I thought I saw Molly's next handbag.
That is
no, I
sweet.
think that's Molly's next pair of shoes or handbag.
He'll probably want to climb on my head. That's where.
Aw, he looks like he's.
Or my keyboard. He likes my keyboard too.
Back in the day, I used to have 2 6-foot iguanas that were sold to me.
He'll get about 6 feet. He'll get big.
Oh, he's a baby? He's like young?
Yeah, he's a baby. He's going to
sold
get cute.
to me with a big, huge plexiglass cage and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was lucky that I knew a person at the grocery store where I could get cast-offs from, when they get cauliflower and they take the leaves off the sides and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can get those in a box if you know the person at the grocery store.
He left me for my keyboard. That's his spot because
it's like warm. Yeah, they like warm. Aw.
I create you. I'm gonna go send you here. I'll show you it.
Aw. He's like,
By the way, I'm gonna have to really I gotta skedaddle. It's getting late.
for real. Yeah.
But for real this time, for real. It's good talking to you guys.
Yeah.
Good talking to you, Kate,
Bye.
Ellie,
Yeah,
voice
have a
of
good night.
You too, Big Tim.
and 7-pounder, the legend, the legendary
legend.
fisherman.
The one, the only.
I know we're all gonna be getting skedaddling off of here because it's 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
We've been here 4 hours. Well, you know what? We'll do number 2 tomorrow. We'll talk about the rest of the stuff tomorrow.
In 6 minutes, the monsters come up.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's why I go to bed, because I don't want the monsters to get me. I check under my bed
before midnight.
That's
You have
right.
6
You
minutes.
check out before they come out.
After midnight.
Anyway, guys, you have a good one. Bye.
Bye, B Tim.
We'll see you later, B Tim.
Good night,
Bye,
Queen.
guys. Good night. I'll see you all later.
Bye.
Thank you for hanging out. And if you guys want to hang out or whatever, I'll probably pop into like Discord chat or something.
Oh yeah, I'll do that. I'll be gone tomorrow though, because the Eagles are gonna be in the NFC Championship.
Oh shit!
Watching
All right,
football
baby.
today.
Good night, baby dog. Good night, everybody. We'll talk to y'all later.
See ya.
I've been on my own for 3 weeks now. I've been drinking every single bottle, Jim Beam down. You say I'm crazy, but I think you're just mad. You say I'm wild. What's so bad about that? Baby, we were good, like white wine going down. But only the whiskey can save me now. Only the whiskey can save me now. I walk a straight line, but it only brings me down. There's love in that bottle that I'm drinking down, drowning a heartache since you walked out. Only the whiskey can save me now. Only the whiskey can save me now. Even the preacher, he says he can't help me. I've been singing praise the Lord, hallelujah, but it don't set me free. You say I'm crazy, but I think you're just mad. You say I'm wild, but what's so bad about that? I've been seeing old lovers, but they can't keep the memories out. Oh, only the whiskey can save me now. Only the whiskey can save me now. Only the whiskey can save me now. Oh, I walk a straight line, but it only brings me down. There's love in that bottle that I'm drinking down, drowning a heartache since you walked out. Only the whiskey can save me now.